Hello, everyone. It's Yogi here. I hope you're well. Happy Saturday. It's our Aimee SAL Saturday, and I hope you're ready for a spot of stitching with Yogi. Okay, and yesterday we got kicked out of the internet, but luckily, the second try, we were okay for the entire stream. So fingers crossed for today. I'm not aware of any issues with broadband, but let's hope for the best. And I hope you're well. And yes, today I'm coming back to this piece. I don't know whether you remember, last time I managed to finish this little vase here, antique vase here, and it's like really adorable, isn't it? And so today I'm going to continue and expand my stitches here with this piece. So this piece, if you've never seen it before, it's by Aimee Stewart. Of course, this is our Aimee SAL Saturday, and this piece is called Grandmom's Attic. So as you can see, as it says on the tin, this is a loft of your of a grandmom. Who's grandmom? I have no idea, but it's very exciting, isn't it? A lot of times the loft is just, all dusty and full of things that maybe not so pleasing to the eyes, but this loft is absolutely beautiful. It's like museum, isn't it? For retro items, toys, etc. And so what drew me to this piece is the overall color scheme is so whimsical and so grounding as well. And also that rocking horse just got my attention right away. And also there's a sort of old-fashioned teddy bear on the rocking chair there as well. This teddy bear is definitely retro because the modern teddy bear, they're slightly cuter. They try to make the teddy bear a little bit more sort of childlike. And this teddy bear is a grown-up teddy bear and sitting on the rocking chair there. So this piece represents a lot of, sort of nostalgic, I suppose, in things you may have seen in your grandmom's storage room or stuff like that. And so this is a regular size and also regular color piece. This piece, I think, is one of the hidden gems because I'm not aware this piece has the super size or maybe max color. So I don't know when this chart was released, but when I found it, it was back in 2003 in the beginning, I think, when I just fell into the rabbit hole there. And this piece, I've been stitching this piece since 2023, and you're looking at all the stitches I put in for this piece here. So I started page by page in the beginning. I was using Pattern Keeper and started from the center. Let me zoom out so you know where I am. And as I said, I was drawn to this rocking horse. So I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to get to the horse. And also, when I embarked on this piece, I was very new to 25 count as well. So it was really an adventure. And I was experimenting with CXC threads as well, and then DMC. And I think I tried it on 22 count as well, and stitch a little bit, and eventually managed to stitch on 25. So this is the fabric count of this piece for me. And let me show you my progress here. So currently, I'm slightly over 6%. I'm very happy. Okay, it's a long time since 2003, nearly 4 years, and 6%. But this is how, how I stitch. I, cycle around, rotate around many pieces, and every piece it feels new every time I stitch it because normally it's been a while. And this piece has got 87 colors. So this is a regular color and more than sufficient for this piece, more than sufficient. And let me start a sprint here in front of you. I'm doing it, chat. And yes, and this counter is going to help me to capture all my stitches today. I did pretty well yesterday. If you weren't here, I know. I was quite pleased with my stitch count yesterday. And it was great fun stitching the squirrel as well. And so today, I am going to focus on slightly. You probably, given some. I probably have already given you some hint in terms of where I'm going to stitch. But of course, before anything, I want to say hello to all of you and welcome. And thank you for joining me today. And let's have a look. Who have I got here to keep me company in this Saturday stitching session? And we have Crafty Tabby Cat says hello, friends. Sorry, I can't highlight this one, the first one. And then we have Daria as well. And the second to report to the chat says hello, Yogi and Stitchy friends. Happy Stitchy Day. And we have Alec as well. Well done, the top three. And says hello, Stitchy friends as well. And who else have we got? We've got Miss Mischief. Great to see you. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to some of you, perhaps. And Jojo as well. Jojo is doing the yard work and is going to join us very soon. Great to see you. And Susan, our lovely Susan, is here. And Mandy Moran is also here. Hello, Mandy. And Amanda as well is back with us. Says hi to the chat. And Renee, hey, great to see you. Says Yogi, and hi everyone. Hello to you as well. Walk away. And Gayla is joining us as well. And Gayla, oh, is it still hot where you are, Gayla? Gayla says, I'm just trying best to stay cool. Luckily, UK is cooling down a little bit. I'm really, really happy. And how long it's going to stay? I don't know. I never thought I'd be worrying about heat wave, because normally when UK is being hit by a heat wave, it's very, very short, maybe a few days. But this year is, all over the place, maybe 4 rounds of heat wave. This year, maybe one more in September. I don't know. I'm bracing myself. And Alison, hello. And I'm sending love to Scotland. And Lucy is also here as well. Says hello, Yogi and chat. Hope you're well. Starting my first full coverage today. Wonderful. And today, yes, absolutely. And I cannot wait. And why don't we start stitching? Let me start stitching, because I can see the comments flowing in and I don't want to miss anything. So I want to start stitching and then go through your comments one by one and say hello to all of you. So today, as you remember, if you were here with me last time, I completed this piece. I'm really, really proud, actually. I stitched in the minimum to max method, filling in gradually. It took a little while, a few sessions, and but we got there at the end, so it's really adorable. And but today, well, this little gap has been staring at me, and I think it's about time, to fill in this gap here so I can move forward however I want. So I am going to follow very similar method, in fact, identical method. I'm going to stitch minimum to max, but I'm kind of pondering upon, because I've got some part threads here, so clearly I was doing parking in this area. So I'm kind of pondering upon whether I should clear the part threads first, or start with a minimum to max and then deal with the part threads as I come across them. What do you think, guys? What should I do? What would be your choice? Because I can do either way. The thing is, I think if I start doing part threads, I don't know. A lot of because the great thing about minimum to max is it kind of bypasses the situation that very often you have to carry your threads over stitch area, which is not ideal. And so I don't know, what would you do? Give me your opinion. I'm happy to do either. I think either works. But first of all, I want to show you the app here. So I'm going to create a highlight box here. And this is what you can do with Saga as well. So you can see I've already have a box on the left side. I'm going to move it to the right here to frame this area here. So it's a smaller area comparing to the vase. So hopefully it's not going to take me too long to complete. So I'm going to bring this down as well, just around here. So by doing so, it's going to calculate all the stitches within this area and prioritize the threads based on numbers or any other orders. This is the great thing about Saga, that you can do this. So this is going to be my focal area on this Saturday, and I'm going to stitch minimum to max. So this is my plan today, and let me know what you're stitching today and what method. I always like to know how you stitch your project. And let's have a look. Janine says, get rid of the part threads, then part underneath. And park underneath, really, do you think? Interesting message. Because normally if oh, first of all, hello, Janine. You know, well done arriving here on time for the class. And normally if I do minimum to max, I tend to remove the threads afterwards. So you leave, you leave a very clean edge. But that's an interesting suggestion. So Janine reckons I should start with the part thread, pretty much doing parking underneath as well. Interesting. I will think about that. I will think. I've never done minimum to max with that method. And Susan says min to max, and Lizzie says start with the part threads. I see. Okay. Yes. I think normally if we do normal parking, right, we tend to clear the part threads first, so it's nice and clean. Let me see. Okay, I am going to clear the part threads. So and then once I use up all the threads, and I will start with min to max. In terms of parking, I'm two-minded. I'll see how it goes. If it flows and it makes sense to park underneath, I would. But by doing so, I'm kind of creating the same situation as this underneath as well. So let's see how it goes. Let me lift all my threads up and do it properly. I am going to clear the threads first and then follow the min to max method. Okay, so this is my plan. Very nice. Thank you, chat. And Lucy says, I love the piece you're working on today, Yogi. Anything grammar, I love. And beautiful colors are in this piece as well. I think, yes, when I first stitched this piece on the streams, some stitchers kind of saying, well, the color scheme is quite dark, isn't it? Because comparing to other Aimee Stewart pieces, very colorful most of the time. But this is why I love this piece. There's a certain kind of, it feels aged, and I love that, and it suits the theme. So let me zoom in here a little bit more for you. So this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe roughly about 6 to 7 blocks here, because there's sort of nearly half blocks under here. Hey, Dolly's here already. Oh, I think she wants to go out a window. Today's a little bit early. Let me just take care of her first. Otherwise, she's going to keep bugging me. Right, Dolly? She's very persistent. Let me have a look. I'll be right back. I'll be right. All right, she's out. So happy now. And Oh, Susan is asking, what image are you stitching? I have no idea. Okay, roughly. Very good point. Let me show you what I'm trying to do here. It's probably good to have a little look. So I'm going to flip. I'm going to turn on the markup. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit. So this is it. It's kind of a maybe part of a boat, like anchor type of thing, like a steering wheel for a boat. I think it's just kind of there as on its own. You see what I'm doing here? So there's some blue, some yellow, and a lot of brown. So this is what I'm stitching here. So that's it. Yes, I think now it makes sense now. You can see a little bit of that going on there. And yes, Lucy, very, very excited for you. Let me just pick this one here. So I have these threads part. I'm going to start from the bottom up. Just one stitch with, oh no, it's more than one. Okay, I am going to do color completion within this area here. I love the color scheme of this one. Walkaway says our house has an attic like that. When I was little, it was amazing, but smelled musty, and I was afraid of spiders in there. Normally, there would be a few resident spiders, right, or maybe a few rats if you're lucky. And so it's a mini zoo with antique items. But you know, there's a show in the UK called Antique Roadshows. I don't know whether you have it in the States, maybe American versions. A lot of people find really valuable items in spaces like this. You never know. Let me turn on 5x5. It's going to help me. Maybe I can do 5x5 gridding as well. It really helps me. So let me just do this. Because when I travel slightly further, when I do color completion, I have to wander a little bit further. So very often I get lost. I get lost anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, middle. Oh, this doesn't want to write. Let me try a different pen. This one is drying out a little bit, unfortunately. Do I have another pen? I'm sure I do. Let me bring on the blue one. Oh, this one is better. Yes, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the wrong one. It's this one I want. This one's perfectly fine. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you never know. There are a lot of treasure you can find in spaces like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do the bottom ones as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's amazing how 5x5, just by having the center point there, it just helps you to identify your location a lot better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Much better. Much better. And Cindy, hello. Happy Saturday. And Ace is in the chat as well. Great to see you. And Lynn is also here. Hello, hello. And saying hello to Cynthia and fellow stitchers. Great to see you, Lynn. Have you been watching Komari today again? Just checking. 1, 2. And Lizzie says the summer is slowly going. Yes, but I don't know whether you read the news. Maybe, sometimes the weather changes its mind. But just a couple of days ago, apparently we are having another heat wave in September. I don't know whether, sometimes it's, they think it's another heat wave going, but by September, things might change a lot. I really love this method, actually. And this method really kind of works for certain webs. Again, it goes back to listening to what the web wants to do. Some webs don't want to be stitched this way. And Janine says, I'll be lurking a little bit. Oh, you're driving home. Yes. And she says, you're stuck with my witty comments. Oh, this is the cross I have to bear, isn't it? Yes, and safe driving, safe driving. Best friend says, I don't have an Aimee cross stitch, but I'm working on my Deer Creek. And hey, pattern, is that the one that, who's that lady? Gemma. Is that the piece Gemma is stitching? She's doing a deer piece as well, but I can't remember what the name is. Let me just count this one. 1, 2, 3. And with this method, you can essentially do parking within the bigger blocks as well. I tend to do block by block, like a single block, but you can do more than one as well, I presume, and just keep parking beyond the area. Let me see if I can complete all the stitches with this little piece here. Okay, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. And just about get away here. And Barlow Bunny says, I'm stitching Puppies by Cross Stitch Meadows. Oh, from Chris's pattern. And Extreme Cross Country. No grid, no way, Barlow. That's a bit risque for Saturday. No grid. No grids and extreme cross country. How extreme is it? What are we talking about here? Like extreme cross a page or the entire piece? But Chris's patterns are not very big, so hopefully you won't get too lost. And Susan says, another cat day for me. View of the garden. I'm filling in the kitten. Oh, how nice. Kitty stitching. Every day is a kitty stitching day for us. Every day is a cat day, according to Dolly, okay? Every day is my day, okay? And just accept that. I'm doing what I'm told, Let me see if I can find my little bin here. From next year, I am going to collect all the waste bits. I'm going to start from January. This is going to be my new thing next year. I am going to collect all the end bits and put it in the jar. I have seen stitchers that do that. But I don't want to start sort of, now. I want the collection of the entire year. It feels more complete, doesn't it? And let's have Alex says, I'm in the realm of paper chart. Oh, in the realm of paper chart today. All right, paper chart stitching. I was there for 5 days, okay? Best friend says, glad I'm able to hang out and stitch. Work has been exhausting, so I haven't had any time to really sit and stitch. Yes, I know. It's so nice to be able to find a bit of time for yourself and just sit down and stitching. It doesn't matter what you're stitching, isn't it? And I find out as well, sometimes I go through a period that I'm just teaching a lot and barely have any time to rest. And stitching is actually quite healing, to be honest, very therapeutic. So this one I'm stitching is 801. 801. Let's see if we're going to have some spooky bingo today. Tigers, hello Tigers. And Tiger says I'm going to have my cousin here today, and I'm going to attempt to stitch with her. Haven't stitched all week, Tiger. And well, I know Tigers have been having some issues with sleep, and it can affect the quality of your day. So hopefully, and how nice you have a cousin to stitch together. That's wonderful. So this one, interesting. This one, I've got two strands of the same color here. So I am going to take this one down. Downwards. Yes, and take the other thread to the left. All right, I'm going to be very mindful here because I'm traveling quite far. 1, 2, far for me anyway. One. Lizzie says we'll be terrified of the rats. I think rats will be terrified of you as well. I think that's mutual. The feeling's mutual. And Busy Mom, hello. Can you stitch today, Busy Mom? It's Saturday after all. Rachel, hello Rachel. And Rachel says, hi everyone. Woke up with migraine today at 4:15 a.m. So I'm too tired to work out. I'm just cleaning around the house. Well, the thing is, if you want to relax, just sit down. You don't have to clean the house. Well, the last thing in my mind when I'm tired is cleaning the house. But Rachel is made differently. Rachel is so disciplined. Yes. I think being tired is normally my excuse of not doing the housework. And, you know, both Mr. Yogi and I, we're both quite lazy when it comes to housework, and we can't really, you know, get the other person to do it because we're both very busy. We both teach, so we're both exhausted most of the time. Barlow says, Grandma, storing a random ship well on the off chance it might come to use for one day. I know, because this type of space is really kind of, you know, it's a little bit of hoarding going on there, because normally you keep things that you no longer need to use, clearly, because you put it away, but you don't want to throw them away. So maybe, you know, it's that classic, you know, maybe one day I'm going to need it. So I am not going to give it away. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to just keep them just in case, just in case. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I try to sort of declutter once in a while, but there are things, they're perfectly good, and I don't know who to give them to, and I don't want to throw them away just in case, you know. It happens a lot, doesn't it? And this is what happens. You end up with a space like this, just in case you need them. Sola says we have antique roadshows as well. That's good. That's good. I'm fascinated by it because sometimes people go on the show with high hopes. They bring this, you know, heirloom, family heirloom that is passed down for generations. They're thinking, my goodness, it's going to go on some sort of auction, you know, Christie's auction, and it's going to rake up like millions. And it turned out to be, you know, fake or just reproduction of something, and you can see the disappointment on their faces. And sometimes the opposite. Sometimes they go, well, you know, this thing has been around with me for ages. I just want you to have a look. And lo and behold, you know, it's really valuable. Migraine, yes, Rachel, drink lots of water. I'm very lucky. I probably only had migraine once or twice in my life, really bad ones. And it feels different from headache, right? It feels different from regular headaches. And just make sure you're not dehydrated. Drink lots of water. I think it helps. And just take it easy. Take it easy. Oh, right, best friend, that's the same one as what Gemma's doing. And what stitch count are you doing it on? And how far are you? I think Gemma is pretty far. I don't know how long you've been stitching it, but it's a beautiful piece, isn't it? Renee says, we have a thunder and lightning here today, along with pouring rain. I'm working on light of faith today. I mean, Renee is so focused, isn't it? It's just like, she's got one piece and she just sticks with it. Hey, Suki just joined us. Hello. Great to see you. What are you stitching today? And Samantha is here as well. Hello. It says, hello all. I'm crocheting during the stream today. Sold out of a lot of my stuff in the farmer's market. I need to restock. That's so lovely. Yes, Samantha is selling stuff I think she makes, if I'm not mistaken. Congratulations. That's very nice. Badil, hello Badil. Badil says, when you wash the project after you finish, do you use hot or cold water to wash away the pen marks? Well, Badil, let me report to Badil, okay? I have not got a chance to wash my project after I'm finished because I have not even finished a single piece just yet. Sorry to break the news, Badil. But from my understanding, this type of pens, literally, let me show you. With this, this can be erased with liquid, with water. So pens like this one comes with a solution on the other end. Okay, very similar, pretty much identical ink, I think. And I can just run the pen over. Let me draw one for you here as a test. Okay. I'm going to erase it so it doesn't matter. And you can use water or just turn the pen around and just run the pen over it. It's gone. So I presume any kind of cold water, warm water probably doesn't matter. I don't know if I will use hot water, guys. For those who actually have experience washing a piece after you finish it, do you use hot water? I don't think that's recommended, right? I think warm water is more than sufficient. And because all you want is maybe to wash off the grime a little bit. Maybe, if a piece is taken years to do, just, freshen it up a little bit. But also to remove any, maybe a gridding or whatever it is from the fabric. You don't need hot water. I think hot water will probably shrink the fabric too much. I don't know. And just wash it gently and it's going to be fine. And also this is full coverage, even if all the lines, some bits not really disappearing, like I'm using pencils here. So they may or may not fade through time. It doesn't matter because it's full coverage. You can't really see anything. Tiger says, my cats love the cat tree I put together. Maybe I will put a picture on Facebook. They love it, don't they? Particularly indoor cats. I think all cats, doesn't matter, love to climb up. Yes, we'll love to see a picture. Barlow says, the entire piece, one color at a time. It's only 90,000 stitches, so quite small. Right. Barlow, I can't remember which piece you're talking about. I've lost track. But 90,000 doesn't sound too bad, right? Oh, yes, of course. That's Chris's piece you were stitching. So 90,000, yes. I think his patterns are quite modest in size, which is probably quite nice, right? In conjunction to more epic pieces. I hope he's doing well. And Mandy says, I'm doing the Lola Crow SAL Museum After Midnight Exhibit 10. Is it Halloween themed? It sounds a little bit like that with Crow. Oh, I have to decide on what I'm going to stitch for Halloween. You know, September is not that far away, guys. September is not that far away, and I think some people already started Halloween stitching, but officially, I think I will be starting. When is Halloween? It's end of October. So in theory, I should start, or we should start together, officially Halloween stitching next month. My goodness, I cannot believe it. I feel like, you know, the year has just started. But yeah, we're at the, you know, the second part of the year very much. And all the festive stitching is going to start very soon. Some of you already started a couple months ago. But yes, I know. Let me move this up here. Oh, Susan says that's one thing missing from Grandma's attic. No kitty. That is very true. No kitty in sight. I don't know. Maybe there's a toy one sitting there somewhere. I will find out when I get there. But from the look of it, you're quite right. This piece is kittyless. But there's a horse. So, you know, and the teddy bears. Well, 2 teddy bears. I think there's another one on the... No, it's a bunny. Bunny on the left. Can you see that? Just below the vase. Bottom left, right. Bottom left there. Ooh, that sounds like fun. It's full of surprises, you know, a lot of objects. And Alex loft is full of cricket bats I grew out of. Did you used to play crickets? How nice. And what about outfits? Those lovely jumpers. 1, 2. Let me make sure I'm at the right spot here. Oh, there's one little stitch up here as well. Okay, hang on. Let me just figure out where I am. I'm a little bit lost. And best friend is stitching the deer piece in 25 count fabric. She says I'm about 4.5% completed, and it's actually my second time restarting this piece due to fabric being damaged. Oh dear! I hope you didn't go too far before you have to start. I don't know how far Gemma has gone with that piece. I bet at least 10% or maybe more. She's one project person. I don't know how she does it. I really don't. She's special. Rachel says, I heard you had to use hot water on easy count gridded fabric. I heard a couple of people say it took a couple washes to get the gridding out. Yes, I did wash my pre-gridded fabric, couple pieces. I kind of deliberately did that to clean the fabric before stitching, but also to fade the gridding a little bit, because sometimes those grey lines can be a little bit overpowering. So I deliberately wash the fabric, but not aiming to remove the lines completely. I just wash a little bit gently to fade the lines a little bit. And I think I used warm water, and you're quite right. I kind of, you know, soak the fabric for a couple minutes, not for very long, and the lines did not come off completely, which is part of what I wanted to do. But I suppose, yes, it probably takes a couple washes, but I didn't use very hot water, just, you know, warm, and with a little bit of detergent as well. Maybe that helped. But yes, I think the lines would completely come off, no problem. Tiger says, so I've never finished a piece that I have to wash. You and me both, Tiger. And she says, I only finished 2 small pieces. How do I even do it? Hand washing. Yeah, some people don't wash it. If it's a small piece, you have not stitched for very long and you have no gridding to remove, then you don't have to wash it. But otherwise, most people probably try to freshen it up a little bit. Okay, let me see. Let me just continue with this. And I have another thread of the same color here. I'll come back later. I want to do it from bottom up so I don't have to run into all the past threads. Okay, this one has only got 2 stitches, I think. 2 stitches. Rachel says, I feel guilty for not working out today because it's Saturday and I'm not working and I have time, but I don't feel up to it. So at least if I do housework, I don't feel as guilty. Oh, Rachel, you give yourself permission to just be a slob for a day. It's fine. Sometimes we need it. Some days we're full on and do everything. If I ever have a day then really, I have no, classes, which is quite rare nowadays. Most days I probably have like 1 at least or 2 and some days more. And I just want to sit, on the sofa, have my feet up. I want to do, whatever I want to, what feel like it, and it's nice to just let go and be a slob for a day. It's okay. It's okay. So when you come back, when you have the energy back, you can go for it, Lizzie says, I don't do festive stitching, which is fine. You don't have to. 2 stitches. Okay. Let me mark these ones. Rachel says, I'm started Halloween stitching this week already. I need to think about what I'm going to do because last year I do have a piece that I can go back to. It's full coverage-ish. It's a pattern from Etsy, but I would like to add another one. I would like to add another one, maybe more full coverage. But I don't want a huge piece, maybe a mini of something. 647, 647. Oh, so Mandy's piece is not Halloween. It's a history museum with dinosaurs. I see. Hey, Kelly. Great to see you. And let's have a look. Tiger says, I'm also one project person, I think. You're not sure. It stresses me out to think about having a bunch of different threads for different projects. No, you don't, because I have one set of floors, like master set for all my projects. And I have 3 different sets because they're different types of threads. But other than that, it's the same set for every single project I do. And it's quite dangerous when you have a master set because it's so easy to start a new project. And Renee says, I'm still waiting for my last finish to come back from the framer. Oh, you have not got it framed yet? The sad girl with a little bird. Maybe it takes a while. Oh, it's been 5 weeks. Does it take that long normally? Framing? I have no experience, as you can see. I have not framed any of my work, okay? No experience whatsoever. And Susan says, I steam iron my small pieces. Right. I think stitching is okay. Because it doesn't matter if you kind of, well, you don't want to flatten it, but maybe a little bit doesn't matter. I think Susan has a lot of experience of finishing pieces, so she can talk. Yes. Rachel says, I didn't wash my Dimensions Gold Captivating Feline project when I finished it. Yes, with smaller pieces like Dimensions, maybe there's no need to wash. If all the gridding is being covered up, for instance, or maybe for some aliens, they don't grid. One, two, three, four. One, two, three. One more. Let me end this one here. I really love 25 counts now. Because for a while I was so fed up with it. I was trying to escape from 25 counts. But I think particularly this year, I'm really falling in love with 25 counts again. It just feels so solid, and it's a perfect fabric count for one strand. I think 28 works quite well as well, but not everybody's comfortable working with 28 counts. And those are some design, to be honest with you, some patterns, it benefit kind of, it benefits from having a little bit more space with the stitches. And 28 counts I like as well. It's working well with my traveling library. But I think some pieces, for instance, like Sleep Time that I stitched a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday, wasn't it? And it feels like that all the stitches just needs a little bit more space, for the colors to come through. Some pieces feel like that. And 25 count is perfect. This one, let me have a look. How many stitches have I got? 16. But let me see. I might just cut this bit off. The thread is a little bit frayed. It doesn't want to be threaded. Let me just remove it, actually. It's very short here, so I'm not wasting too much. It just, sometimes you feel like the thread is getting a little bit tired. It just doesn't want to be threaded. Let me pick this one. I do love parking because particularly when you come into a new area with a lot of part threads, you're just pulling the threads one by one. They're already there, It's quite nice. Okay, this one's got 6 stitches. Walk away. Renee says, I like to wash my finishes because it seems to plump up my stitches and make them look fuller and prettier. Wow. Okay, yes, I think when you wash it, even, with just a little bit of warm water, because the fabric will shrink a little bit and pulling all the stitches together even more. Yes, I can imagine that. Because with this piece, for instance, it's 25 counts, you can hardly see the fabric, maybe a little bit with darker stitches, but most stitches, you don't even, notice the fabric underneath. And this is being pulled tight, quite tight. So the stitches are being spread out. But once you relax the fabric, I don't think you can see any fabric underneath at all. And Sola says, being a yoga teacher, is most of your instruction speaking rather than demonstration, or are your class a workout for you as well as your student? It's a combination. So yes, I do demonstrate. there are certain classes that you go, Ashtanga, for instance, the teachers do not demonstrate. They give you cues, but then again, Ashtanga is a different type of practice. A lot of classes that you probably can watch or been to, the practitioners, they've been doing the same sequences for a long time, maybe repeatedly, because they do the same sequences every single time. Cycling through about maybe 55 stitches, 55 poses, something like that. But with my kind of sort of more modern yoga teaching, yes, you demonstrate, because you don't know whether the students have been practicing for 20 years or maybe brand new to the classes. So demonstration is important. People want to see visual references, but I do not demonstrate every single pose, because a lot of positions, my way, well, how I decide whether I demonstrate or not is based on whether the students can see me. So with sun salutation, for instance, I do it with them, I warm up with them. And when it comes to down dog, anything they need to hold for more than like one breath, I would stop, I walk around the room and check on them to make sure that, if they need adjustments, I go to them and do that. So that's one purpose. And also it conserves my energy as well. So if I do it from beginning to the end, with the number of classes I teach, I will not last for 2 classes. So so partially it's the conservation of the energy, but also in fact, if you speak to a lot of experienced yoga teachers, the teachers of the yoga teachers, for instance, they would tell you, if you see a teacher that demonstrates from beginning to the end, that is not a very good way to teach students, because you have no time to look at your students. So you need to split your time in half. Well, I don't know whether it's half or not, but whenever it's appropriate, you need to stop and you walk around the room and check on the students. And also the poses I don't demonstrate. Let me just pop this back. A1, A01. The demonstration, the poses I don't do demonstrations would be when the students cannot see me meaningfully. So for instance, downward facing dog, they can probably lift their head up, look at me doing it, and I stand up, I walk around. And also any kind of lying down poses. If you're lying down, in order to see the teacher demonstration, you literally have to come up or turn your head in a way that's probably, not good for you. You have to strain your neck and try to copy it. So any position like shoulder stands, bridge, whatever it is, full well, whatever, I don't do it. I walk around, I give them the cues, because they're lying down, they can't see me anyway, and or standing split, they're looking downwards. So sometimes I would demonstrate, I walk to the back of the room to demonstrate, so they can see me from upside down, when they fall forward, stuff like that. So I think, to demonstrate, you want to be helpful. You want the demonstration to be useful. There's no point demonstrating if they can't see you meaningfully. So it probably comes with experience as well. A lot of new teachers, they try to do from beginning to the end, because they don't know what to do with themselves when they're not demonstrating. So that's one reason. But gradually, you probably will work out when to demonstrate, when do not. But that's a very interesting question. It's for the teachers to figure it out. But I think it's important to provide enough. It probably shows the quality of your cue, vocal cue. If your vocal cue is good, it's so efficient and so precise, you don't need to demonstrate, in theory. April, hello April. And Miss Mischief says, I need to start gridding or buying the class with grid work because I'm sure I sure as heck cannot count. You and me both, Miss Mischief. She says, every project I'm working on has mistakes on it. Sometimes it's frustrating. Some mistakes are fine, Miss Mischief. You know, you can fudge your way through, particularly with full coverage. A lot of time is fudgeable within reason. Within reason. Let me have a look. Where am I? Here. And yes, gridded fabric is fine, but it's got its downside as well with gridded fabric. But you can have fabric that you can grid yourself. Yes, you just need to grid few blocks at a time, like Yogi. You know, don't overdo it. Don't do the whole piece, just in case if you miscounted one block, everything else is wrong. So you can grid yourself and or pre-gridded fabric, but pre-gridded fabric, I find it very easy to misread where the block starts and ends for me. So nowadays, I actually prefer non-gridded fabric, and I I grid myself with a pen. Let me just do these ones here. Jojo says, I also walk my pieces and blocks to dry. You walk on top of your pieces? Oh, you mean wash? Jojo says, I also walk my pieces. I think you meant wash, right? Wash my pieces and block to dry. When dry in place, the piece face down on a fluffy towel. Oh, I have seen people doing that. Yes, because I think the goal is not to flatten the stitches too much. So yes, I have seen YouTube videos. They wash it and then turn the piece face down and dry it like that. So it doesn't, you know, that the stitches don't get pressed down too much. But to be honest, 25 counts, this is pretty flat as it is. I don't think they could be flatter. So maybe just allow the stitches to fluff up a little bit. Komari has a couple of videos of her washing her pieces, and she will wash them not at the time she finished them. I think she probably washes the finished pieces as well, but she will wash throughout, maybe once a year or something like that, because her pieces are so huge, and you know, sometimes there is a lot of sort of handling and also exposure, you know, with dust and everything. So she will wash her pieces half finished or not finished, maybe once in a while. And she's got a couple of videos on how she does it. I think she's dropped everything in the bucket because her fabrics are really big. And then add in some maybe soap or detergent and just give it a gentle rub, gentle wash. And I can't remember, I think she irons them. I can't remember. You have to look up the videos. I think she steam ironed them, or maybe placing a towel on top and steam iron them or something like that. But she knows what she's doing. She's got so many pieces. Let me see if I've got enough to travel down here. Kelly says I make a few grit marks as I go for most projects, not all. Yes, I don't have the confidence, you know, at all to grit the whole piece. First of all, it's quite boring if you want to do it in one go. But also, there's no need. You just grit as you go. You don't have to do a whole lot. And also, in case you make a mistake, you can spot it and fix it. One more stitch here. Ah, there's one stitch. Hang on. That one I've already done. All right. Let me see if I can end this one with a tiny bit left. But the problem with washing your pieces halfway is if you're using a pre-gridded fabric, you don't want to wash it, do you? Until you finish. Okay. And this one's 3A29 over here. Hello, Andreas. She says, finally made it here, got my air conditioner fixed. I'm glad, because it's, oh my God, you're kidding? 106 Fahrenheit, 41. Where are you, Andreas? Is it Sahara? My goodness. London is pretty cool at the moment in comparing to a few days ago. It's such a relief. It felt like, it felt totally different because I was so, I was so hot and bothered during the heat wave. I just wasn't comfortable. I think I do better in colder weather rather than when it's really hot. Oh my God, 41. I'm so happy you have your air conditioning. It's no joke. I remember when it was 35 degrees for a couple of days. My God, it was bad. You mark as I go. Oh, Andreas is in Texas. Is it still heat wave at the moment? My goodness. I think 41 degree, if you don't have air conditioning, is torture, isn't it? One, two. And Renee says, I made a mistake of washing a pre-gridded fabric after the piece was started once. It totally changed the hand of the fabric. It washed all the stiffness out and made the fabric too stretchy. Really? I gently wash the pre-gridded fabric, and afterwards I can, there's no fundamental change of the texture as such, but I find the stitches kind of, they become smaller a little bit. Maybe the fabric shrink just tiny bit, but once I stretch the fabric back on the hoops, gradually the fabric kind of relax a little bit. So, it's not that different. But I suppose, yes, I think some fabric it's got a lot of kind of starch to keep the fabric more structured, and that you could lose that. And if you wash it halfway, I think with 25 counts DMC, not too bad. I think if you stretch the fabric out one more time, then it should everything should open up again. Where am I? Here, 1, 2, and 1 here. Yes, what is the hand of the fabric? I know. I'm just taking a guess. Is it a direction of the threads? I don't know. Andrea says, I'm actually cooking dinner outside in the solar oven. Well, you've got plenty of sunlight. All the sun and heat, so I might as well cook for free. That's hilarious. So you have a solar powered oven. So do you get that kind of heat on a regular basis? Is that why people have solar powered oven? I've never heard of that. I know people cooking fried eggs on a car, a bumper or something, on the surface. But I've never heard of solar powered oven. That's a great idea, actually. Walkaway says, hand is the feel of the fabric, like the texture. I can imagine that. But it's interesting, it becomes stretchy, because I would have thought it would be the opposite. It will probably be more stiff, not stiff, but, because the fabric might contract a little bit. But it's interesting, it becomes more stretchy. And I actually washed some older pieces of Aida so I can stitch it. And Aida, I find it does shrink a lot more, I think, compared to even weave. The stitches do become smaller. So 14 counts that I wash, they probably end up sort of size 16 or something. They do shrink a little bit. One. Lynn says, hello, Janine and busy mom. Hope you're well. Yes. Hello, Lynn. What are you stitching today? Are you back on Maggie yet? Because I think Aida is very starched. Some Aida is very, 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 very stiff. So if you do remove this, the starch, the texture of the fabric does feel very different. Which is probably not a bad thing, because some Aida is probably way too stiff for most of us. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's this one. Hang on. Andrea says we get the heat every summer. Okay, so it's not unusual for it to be this temperature every year. I mean, for the UK, it's very unusual. Occasionally we have heat waves, but not so persistent. And we started early as well. I think it started probably in May sometime, the first wave, and then just kept going. It just got hotter and hotter. And most of the residential houses, we don't have air conditioning, not for cooling. We have heating, central heating, but we're not equipped for heat. One, two, three. I mean, it doesn't look like a vast area, but I still have to be very mindful where I go. I could get lost. Hello, Busy Mom. Oh, Busy Mom saying hello to Lynn. I saw Busy Mom was here earlier on. And Brandy Sandberg, great to see you. Lynn says, Yogi, I will never forget the Ada. What Nikki and I had. Oh, from the Maggie kit, I know. Oh, that was hilarious. For Maggie, the mess maker, for some reason, the version. So Lynn, that's interesting because Lynn is in the UK and Nikki is in America. So for some reason, because I was thinking maybe it's where the kits were made. Maybe in different factories, they use slightly different fabric. From my experience, stitching Dimensions kit, there were occasions the Ada, the fabric was a little bit on the stiff side, but not to the point that, according to Nikki, it was hurting her fingers stitching on that piece of Ada that came with Maggie and Lynn as well. So I don't know what that is about. And maybe they try to make it a little bit more stiff, so maybe some stitchers can stitch without using a hoop. I don't know. But that's a bit much. I mean, I don't enjoy stitching on really stiff Ada. Let me just do one more here. I remember Nikki was wearing some sort of finger guard to protect her fingers. It was so bad. I'll probably just switch the fabric to something else. All right. Very nice. Renee says, my daughter lives in Oklahoma and is terribly hot there right now. Is it desert? Because I'm just thinking, I have no knowledge whatsoever of Oklahoma. I get impressions kind of desert. I learned everything about America from movies. What is going on with this? Oh, 1, 2. Okay, got it. I'll probably pick this one. A29. Andrea says, we only use the heater if it gets really cold. And does it get really cold in the summer? So it's cold well, not in the summer. It's cold in a winter and hot, really hot in the summer. Renee says cross-stitch injuries, beware of sharp Ada. I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? To the point that you have to wear protection when you're stitching. If it was me, I'll probably just switch fabric, because for me, stitching is about the experience of pulling your thread through, you know, and that's kind of why I stitch. If it starts to hurt my fingers, I'm not going to like it. And with a lot of Ada, even if you don't wash it, even you just rub it a few times, it softens. But doesn't sound like that's the case for those fabric. That's so ridiculous. Lucy says, I heard you mention Ada is too stiff. For most, I purchase Ada because I read it is good for beginners. What do you recommend? Well, not all Ada they're stiff. Some of them are, because, and you're quite right, Lucy, they probably do that in order to make the fabric more structured, because, you know, some Ada, technically you could stitch without using a hoop. So you can just take, you know, handle holding the fabric because it's quite structured, and you can stitch like that. Maybe that's for that purpose as well. And but yeah, I think it's probably to help people who are not very familiar with cross stitching. They can do it without having to use a hoop. No, this is incorrect. Stitch right here. Let me just reverse stitch this one. Let me have a look. 1, 2, and 1. Okay. That's okay. I spotted it. And the piece of fabric, the piece of Ada I bought from for Maggie, because this time around I kitted up pattern myself. So I bought my own fabric, and the DMC Ada is perfectly fine. It's so soft. It's got structure, but at the same time it's very soft to stitch. So not all Ada they're sort of so stiff. So if you like to go for kind of a really balanced Ada, DMC Ada would be a very good option, I think. Best friend says, I'm in Oklahoma too. It's ridiculously hard. We have 3 schools shut down because of the air conditioners just cannot handle the heat. Oh goodness, yes. It's safety hazard, isn't it? When it's so hot with kids, particularly if there isn't sufficient air conditioning. It's quite dangerous. And is it like that every year? Because if it's normal to have this heat, then, you know, all the buildings should be equipped to handle it. I have friends actually went to, I think it was Dubai, because Dubai is really, really hot. We're talking really, really hot. It's almost dangerous to step out of buildings, to go outdoor during the day. And they literally just live indoor. So air conditioning becomes life-saving. If it breaks down, literally people, they're in a survival mode if, you know, if there's no air conditioning. Monique, hello Monique. Great to see you. And Brandy says, my Dimensions kit 14 count Ada was really stiff, at the beginning, I was just learning how to stitch, so it was a bit helpful at first. I don't like stiff fabric now. I think, yes, I think they probably use a more starched fabric to help the beginners, just in case they don't have a hoop yet. But after a while, I think, yes, I think most stitchers will probably choose a softer fabric because it's just nicer. It's nicer to stitch, isn't it? And I also don't like fabric that's too fragile, you know, too light. Well, my 28 count is just fine. I like the lightness of it. DMC 28 count is very almost see-through. And because of 25 counts, you can't see my hand underneath, right? My fingers right here. But 28 counts, you can. It's kind of see-through, but the fabric is still quite robust. It's not fragile. But I think if you stitch something like linen, that's why it's so tricky. It's very delicate, isn't it? I'm still a little bit scared of linen, but I'm curious. I'd like to stitch linen at some point. Maybe not for full coverage. I think it's probably more suited for samplers. Oh, and talking about samplers, when am I going to start 101 alphabet? I forgot about it. Oh, I'm feeling so bad. I am going to stitch that fabric, that project, 101 alphabet. Some of you have already started, I know. It's just been so busy this summer. I hardly have time to stitch. So I'm trying to come back to the foundation first before I branch out too much. Monique says it's been cool lately in New Jersey. Is it New York? So no complaints. That's very nice. That's very nice. Yes, it's about time, isn't it? We're almost September. Seriously. Lynn says, Yogi, the sewing machine friend. Now her name is Sewing Machine Friend. The Sewing Machine Friend is coming to ride Molly tomorrow. No. Have you asked for Molly's permission to be I don't know horses. Do they want people to ride on top of them? I wouldn't like that if I was a horse. And Lynn says, so we'll have a word with with Molly. Yes, ask for Molly's permission, you know. For some reason, we just decided the horses, you know, are for riding. And the horses are like going, I don't think so. You have to ask my permission. We don't ride, you know, dogs or cats. Maybe some do. I don't want to know. Sola says, my only experience with UK is on TV or friends. I was told the Scottish Highlands is not mountainous, as the name would imply. Is that true? Yes, Alison can probably share some light. You know, I actually visited Scotland probably more than any other parts of the UK. I love Scotland. And Highland, as in, the landscape is different. If you go to Edinburgh, comparing to London, even though both are cities, and Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland, right? And it's a lovely, lovely it's a city, but it's got almost town feel to it, and the landscape is very different. If you look up the sky in London, you see buildings, maybe not super tall buildings, depends on where you go, but that's the landscape. If you go to Edinburgh, you see the buildings, but you also see the horizon and some mountains. It's really beautiful, probably because they're high up, and so it's probably highlands in that sense. Not so much, it's full of mountains. You can see the mountains in the horizon, but the view is very open, isn't it? If you've been to Scotland, everything's very open, even in cities and towns. It's a very beautiful place. I really like Scotland. And you know what? I remember watching this program about Scottish accent. Apparently, because, commercials and stuff, they have narrators, as the speaking voice trying to sell you things and stuff like that. Apparently, Scottish accent is a favorite for commercials because it sounds trustworthy, it sounds earthy, and so it's a favorite kind of accent for a lot of commercials. If you listen to someone that sounds Scottish, you just believe them. They go, hey, just eat this. You're going to lose 20 pounds. You go, yeah, I believe you. It's a bit like that. Oh, I've got this wrong. That's why I missed one stitch on the left here. They just sound like they never tell lies, I'm sure some do. And Susan says, Swagger is a good Ada as well. I still don't know the difference. I'm familiar with the term. I just pretend that I know. Is it a brand? Renee says, use the title of a movie to describe the climate you live in. Mine is currently sleepless in Seattle. Oh, are you in Seattle, Renee? And you're sleepless. Fair enough. Where Am I? Is there a movie called Where Am I? That would be my movie. Oh, yes, there's one stitch missing down here. Is it? Rhetorical. Oh, this is why. That doesn't make sense. What is going on with this piece? One stitch here, one stitch here. Okay, I see. I think there is one stitch off. That's why it doesn't match. 1, 2, and then 2 stitches down here. So this stitch is incorrect, and it kind of, mislead me. I used it as a reference. Hang on. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay. I'm fudging. Okay, it's okay. I need to fudge from time to time. It's fudgeable. Sola says, when I was in school, there was no air conditioning. My paper would stick to my arm. That's fond memory, the fond childhood memory of Sola having paper sticking to her arms due to heat. And the sweat would trickle down my back. I used to run around in a room to cool off, but I got in trouble for that. Why would running around cool you off? Wouldn't you just get you more sweaty? Yes. Oh dear, no air conditioning. That is not good. Do people get sunstroke or something? Lucy says, no one I got is not, the one I got is not very stiff and it's a DMC Ada. Yes, DMC Ada is quite soft. The one I'm stitching on Ada, on Maggie and Max, they're both from DMC, and it's quite gentle fabric. Two over here. Brandy says, Yogi, are you going to do a SAL with either of your 2 charts? If so, do you know if it will be this year? Oh, absolutely. Yes. Thank you for asking. Let me just highlight this. So, just in case you don't know, I do have two charts based on my own artwork. They're coming out. And we're going to do, I'm thinking, because depends on when the charts are ready. So this is Brandy's question. So yes, we're definitely, I'm thinking September. Because if the charts, we are at the end of August, right? So if the chart is coming out in the next couple of weeks, we are ready to do a SAL together. Maybe in the beginning of September. I'm thinking about doing a marathon. What do you think, guys? I think it's worth celebrating because they're going to be my first charts, okay? And so I'm thinking maybe doing another marathon in September. What do you think, guys? And of course, you know, you can join me for the SAL, or you can stitch other things as well. You don't have to stitch my chart, but it would be very nice if you could join me. I will have two charts. They're coming out hopefully in the next couple weeks. Oh, Janine has got home safely. Good. No texting during driving. That's good. Well done. Lucy says, I heard even weave was not an easy fabric to stitch on, and I looked it up and the structure was confusing. What's your favorite? Depending on what fabric count, I think. I think, you know, even weave can be any count, isn't it? I'm still not totally sure. I think even weave that I stitch on, like this one, they tend to be kind of 20 counts upwards. I'm sure, I've been told they're lower count even weave as well. But fundamentally, to be honest, you probably notice the stitch size more than the texture, to be honest, because, you know, whether it's Ada or is it even weave. Yes, even weave, I think it's confusing for people who never stitched the fabric before. I was really confused because Ada, you can see there's an area very, very clearly you can stitch on. And now I'm totally used to even weave now. But if you look at even weave, they're literally just, they're equally, well, it says on the tin, evenly woven with threads. So it's very hard to tell if you're not used to reading the fabric. It's very hard to tell where the stitches should be. So that could be a learning curve if you never stitched sort of even weave before. So you get some, you know, it probably requires a little bit of getting used to. I don't know about lower count even weave. Is there such a thing as 14 count even weave? I don't know. But I think it's more to do with the stitch size. That is going to be more challenging for stitches. Yes, I remember I was so terrified when I first stitched 25 counts. I don't know what I was looking at. Alison says for the UK, the mountains are big, but probably in comparison to other areas, they may seem small. Yes, and also depending on where you are in Scotland, isn't it? Some areas. I find Scotland, the landscape tends to be very open. I don't remember, you know, kind of seeing really high mountains as such. I think highlands in general is because they're just higher in position rather than having mountains necessarily. Renee says, I'm not in Seattle, but we have Seattle weather here north of Seattle. I think Seattle rains a lot, isn't it? From what I know, a little bit like UK, like UK really. Best friend says, for Oklahoma, it will be infernal. It's that bad. It's that bad. Mischief says, Zwega and is it Witcheld and Charles Craft are the most common Ada cloths here in States. Are they brands? Are they brand names? The Charles Craft brand is the stiffest of the three. Oh, not for me then. Yes. Because for a while, I thought Zweigart, I probably butcher the pronunciation as well. I thought it was a type of fabric, but it's a brand name, isn't it? Best friend says, just in time for my birthday, might have to start a new project just for that reason. Lynn says, Yogi, I was watching YouTube earlier. A bus driver said they should have showers on buses. What? As people really smell dreadful. Oh no. The bus drivers complaining about passengers being stinky. But the thing is, though, the London bus drivers, well, I don't know where Lynn is, but I think London bus drivers, the London buses at least, they're in a separate compartment. There's a really solid, sort of dividers, not even dividers, they're practically just walls around them, probably to protect them from from passengers, but also some separation from the passengers as well. I think London buses is probably okay. You can't really smell the passengers if you're a bus driver, but if you're on a regular buses, yes, I think it can be slightly challenging for the bus. But that's not very nice, though. You don't complain, about your passengers being stinky. And Lynn says he was in London. Really? But London buses, yes, the windows are very small because you can't open windows, the big windows. They're glass panels, and there is some little thin, it's more like you can flip open. So it's not probably for safety reasons. You can't just, there's no big open windows. So it can be, I suppose. Betty says 28. Hello, Betty. Betty says 28 count is the same thing as 14. Oh, do you mean if you do 2/1? Not 2/1, 1/2. Sola says, I have found that even weave has variety of stitch counts, but it's probably not as versatile as Ada. Right, yes, I remember we went through the whole, how high, what fabric count Ada goes up to. In the very beginning of the channel, we did a deep dive onto Googling. So I learned a lot through that period, but still not fully clear on the definitions. Yeah. Sola says, doesn't Gemma stitch on 14 count even weave? Or is that Ada? I think she stitches on Ada. I think she's an Ada girl. Janine says, I have really hard time stitching on 28 count, even if I did 2/2. The holes are too small. My eyes are getting old, I think. Yes, 28 count is not for everybody. 28 count is not for everybody. Janine says, yes, marathon. Yes, I'm thinking we can probably do another one to celebrate the occasion. Because 28 counts in theory is not that different from 25. If you're used to 25, I think you should be able to transition to 28. But Janine, remind me, I think your go-to fabric, go-to count is 22, right? So 28 is a little bit, you can definitely notice the difference. But I think if you're pretty comfortable stitching 25 count, 28 is doable. It doesn't mean you will like it because the fabric is a little bit different, a little bit lighter if you get the DMC one. I like it, But I also really enjoy 25 counts. I think 25 count has got that balance of if you're stitching full coverage, you have that slightly high depth finish, but the stitches are not too small. I think some people might find 28 counts is a little bit on the small side. So I think that this is why 25 count is so popular. Andrea says, I got adventurous and bought 46 count linen now to find a project. Yes, not many people stitch full coverage on linen because it's not necessary. Because the great thing about linen is the fact that when the fabric shows through, it's really pretty, right? And so most people probably do non-full coverage pieces. I'd love to try linen, but I'm just not brave enough for now. I would think, well, I think there is such a thing as a linen even weave, which I was thinking about getting for the 101 alphabet. So it's a bit more forgiving, but they're more natural looking, non-even weave linen. That's really pretty, but a little bit scary to stitch. But maybe at some point, or maybe I will get a smaller project and stitch on linen. So let's say there was an incident on the top level of the London buses, and there were school kids beating up one poor fellow student. Finally, one woman went to ask the driver for help. Well, that's like what happened to me. I told a story, didn't I? It was quite a few years ago. That on the upper tier of the bus, one young boy was getting basically beaten up by his schoolmates, from the look of it, and I went over to intervene. And but I don't know whether I made the matter worse. I can totally see it happening because sometimes I get on London buses, and I tend to go up to the upper decker, and a lot of school kids are very loud. For some reason, they have to talk like that. They just have to shout and stuff like that. It does happen, and I can see things can probably get out of hand. And nowadays, the security is a lot better because there are cameras facing the passengers on both levels, so everything's being filmed. Hopefully, it probably prevents crimes from happening a little bit, because the older buses, they didn't have that, so anything goes because the bus drivers cannot see what's above him or her. So, nowadays it's a little bit more secure. I think the bus drivers, I'm not sure. I think the bus drivers, they have the monitors in front of them. They can see what's going on behind him, on the lower level, and also upper decker as well. So nowadays it's a little bit more secure, and the bus drivers can probably raise the alarm very quickly. Betty says 20 counts. You don't normally stitch over 2. Ah, okay. 20 counts. Okay. Yes, Ginny, that was my story. I didn't know it was on the news, but I'm sure similar incidents probably happen quite a lot. I can totally see that. But hopefully now they're aware that there are cameras everywhere on the bus. And some buses, they're really good. Some buses you can recharge your phone. It's got like a USB ports, so you can charge your some newer buses. You can do that. I thought it was really nice. Renee says, hate instructions used to recommend a linen 25 count fabric for their charts. Not sure if they still have that in instructions. I wonder why that is, because what's the benefit of using linen over regular even weave? Because it's fully covered anyway. And this type of even weave is probably easier to stitch for most people because it's got more body to it, isn't it? There's one more stitch here somewhere, hidden. Oh, Brandy. Brandy says, I had to leave the audio in busy area, so miss my answer. Yes, Brandy, yes, we are going to do a SAL together, and hopefully the charts will come out, will be ready in the next couple of weeks, a week or two. Rachel is working on it. Sincere gratitude to Rachel, and we're trying to iron out the spec for the charts, so they will come out hopefully in the next week or two, and so you have time to get the chart and get the fabric ready as well. So I'm looking at September, maybe the beginning of September. We can do maybe a marathon in one of the Saturdays, so come join me. Solar says the news commentators were expressing shock that no one would intervene. Solar, are you telling my story? Yes, expressing shock that no one would intervene. Not one person. There was enough people that could have stopped it. That's my story, Solar. Are you sure? It's on the news. That's my story. Yes, there were people on the bus. They literally did not turn their head. They just looked forward and looked down. I was probably at least 4 people on the upper decker, and they just pretended they didn't see anything. Really nice, isn't it? That was my story, Sola. I don't think it was on the news. Betty says people don't want to get involved anymore because many projects, the criminals are not the real victims. I'm trying to figure. Yes, I think, yes, I understand. There are occasions maybe it's not smart to intervene. You have to, make the judgment calls. But I think it's so sad if people just pretend they don't even see it when the child is getting beaten up. Really? Right, Betty? Betty will intervene, I'm sure. I think most of the people in the chat here, you're good people, I'm sure. I'm not saying it's necessarily smart to do, but isn't that our instinct to try to help others? You rush over and try to do something. And Sola says chatelaine is recommends 28 or 32 count Belfast linen for their charts. Yes, because chatelaine is not fully covered, so the fabric shows through, and I think that's when the fabric you choose becomes relevant. There's two more here. Let me see if I can find the stitches. Jeanine says about half of my projects are 25 and the other half are 20. I have 2 on 28, but they're a struggle for me. Yes. I mean, at least you tried. If it's not for you, then, 28, for whatever reason, you don't like it. But in general, I would say that if you're relatively comfortable with 25, you should be able to stitch 28. It doesn't mean you will like it, but you can try. 2 stitches here. Betty says those who want to help are too afraid, in fear of facing charges. Why would they be facing charges? I mean, I think you don't have to interfere to beat up the other guys. That's not, you don't want to use violence to meet violence. It's not a solution, but you can basically distract them. Just, you can just tell them to stop, something like that. I didn't go over to fight with them. I just want them to stop. 640. Even though, I can do a few yoga kicks, but I don't want to kick kids unless, they come to me, then I'll fight. All right, so what Solar saw was very similar to my situation. It was on Fox News, so they were covering UK bus incidents. And Solar says maybe lovely ladies who went down to talk to the bus drivers was Yogi. No, by the time I went down because at that time I don't think there were cameras. So by the time I went down to speak to the buses, those kids who beat up this poor boy, they all run away. So there's not much anybody could do. But in my mind, I was thinking, oh, have I made things worse for this poor child? Because, the next day he will have to go to the school and these people are probably there waiting for him. So I don't know. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Andrea says I had to invest in a good magnifying glass to stitch anything above 14 counts. Yes, definitely. Good lighting. And if you need help with magnifying, a lot of our stitchers use it. But I think good lighting is a very good start. Hello, Alyssa. Come join us. Let me stitch this one. I'm almost done with the part threads. I've got 5 to go. Baduhi, hello. Welcome. So I'm not really parking outside the box because I kind of use up most of the threads here. Lynn says, Yogi, what's that on your project? A log, nearly tea time. What, a log? Oh, do you mean tea time as in chocolate time? What do you mean, what's that on your project? I'm stitching this thing. Monique says, I use the head magnifying glasses with light to stitch on my ADA. Do you mean like you wear on your forehead? So it's not uncomfortable. So it's not going to like, give you headaches or anything. That's one solution, because then it basically follow where what you're looking at, as long as it's kind of comfortable to wear, because you probably have to wear it for a long time. Travis, hello. Sola says the 5 is an afternoon talk show. Oh, it's a talk show. They still do those, do they? Those TV talk shows. You know, those talk shows probably started, well, I have to blame American friends here. You started this format of this guy sitting, behind a desk, and then you have sofa on the right side most of the time, and you have guests just sit there and talking to the host in a very particular way. And that format, I'm pretty sure they probably patented that format and sold it to all over the world, because I have seen versions from Germany, from Ireland, from wherever, all over the place, and certainly UK as well. And it becomes so, I don't know what's the word for it. It just becomes a thing. And everybody, all the talk shows, for some reason, they do it that way. I'm sure they probably have to get some sort of license to use that format. And talk shows become identical all over the world, which is quite weird. Why do they have to sit like that? And sometimes they have like a house band, don't they? They have like, try to have banters with some sort of a house band. Why do they have to do it that way? It's so strange. And everybody, for those people, they probably have to prepare for about 5 hours to go on those shows, and they only talk about a few minutes, not even 10 minutes, and they have to sit there. Some talk shows, they have to listen to other people as well and pretend to be interested. What is that about? I think this is why people stop watching TV, because you just know, it felt like everything's staged. And everything's just overproduced, and nothing's normal. And, stars only go on those shows if they have something to sell you, like a new film, a new album, whatever. And the formats are the same wherever you go. It's so tiring. It's just, after a while, you just go, whoa, this is not very interesting. And they have probably pre-scripted jokes. They go, well, I'm going to ask you this, and you can crack a joke, when I ask you to respond, and the audience are going to laugh, and we have the, house band pretending to be really interested, that kind of stuff. Sorry, I just went on a rant, just triggered by the word talk show, okay? This is how pissed off I am with talk shows. And okay, so come back to Solas. Come back to Solas. I just went on a detour, okay? And Sola says they have, the talk show have a segment at the end of the show called One More Thing. Oh, that's Steve Jobs' famous line, One More Thing, where each person had a short story, and seems like the bus incident was one of them. And that was told by whom? Just normal people who told that story. They stole my story. I want copyright over that story. They probably have heard it on our stream and stole it. They thought, wow, that's a great story from Yogi, and let me pretend that was my story. Oh, very naughty, these people. And Janine says, that would be me. I would not want to get involved. Janine, we need to have a word, okay? Well, at least say something, And because these kids, they're actually cowards. Anyone who would bully other people, they're cowards within. So you can scare them away. I mean, just think about if that boy was your brother or your child or whoever, you would intervene. Janine says even 3 or 4 teenagers can turn and you will be the victim. I don't want to be in that position. I would have gone down in the lower deck. Well, you're not wrong. Sometimes, you know, when you try to help, sometimes you become the victim. It does happen. But I think we have to count on other people still have that instinct to help you. What if you were the victim this time? You know, maybe you were getting beaten up. I don't know why anybody would beat up Ginny. Or, you know, as women, we are more vulnerable, you know, when it comes to crimes and stuff like that. And I like to think there will be people out there that will come forward and help me. I don't want to live in a world thinking that everybody's just fending for themselves. I understand the concern, and it does happen sometimes that you become the victim, but that instinct has to be there for people to at least do something. I like to think that. And it's chocolate time, is it? And Rajal says, chocolate time indeed. Why not? Let's pause for a bit of chocolate. And Lynn says, Yogi, it is to the right where you're stitching. Is it a log? Oh, for my pattern, is it a log? I don't know, to be honest. Let me show you the markup here. Is it a log? Let me zoom out and you can tell me what you think. Is it a log? No. To the right side, you mean this? The circly bits. I think it's some sort of meter or something. I don't really know. It's not detailed enough to show me what it is. Let me just... Can you see that? Are you talking about that circly thing? It's not a log. Oh, or maybe this is a binocular. This bit pointing up. Let me come back to the fabric. I mean this. It's not a log. It's I think it's a telescope or something. I think every loft probably has one sitting there. Really old. Let's have some chocolate, shall we? Let me just pop this one here. And Walkaway says, in a way, this is a talk show too, Yogi, but you don't sit on a desk, you sit on a sitting hoop. Well, but the thing is, we don't have, you know, a scripted content, because the problem with those talk shows, you know, any jokes, any kind of situation they try to create, it's all, you know, staged. And after a while, you just go, oh, I know what you're doing. You're just pretending to be funny, and it's not spontaneous. I think that's the thing. Lona, hello, Lona. And yes, it's a talk show. I like to think this is almost like a radio, you know, the good old-fashioned radio. And it's just people talking normally. I think radio people tend to be a little bit more normal, because it's a longer form of, you know, communication. And great to see you, Lona. And let's have a look here. Chocolate time, guys. So today I'm going to come back to my chocolate buttons. I think today I'm feeling chocolate button. Yesterday I was having this one. Yesterday I had this one from Marks and Spencer, which is really nice. And I will have another piece in a bit. But today, chocolate button time. Okay, I still have a few buttons in here. So, and some of them are broken actually, but still tasty. Guys, let me know where you're snacking. So let me just turn on my highlight here. Walkaway says, Yogi needs some theme song like Johnny Carson. Oh, really? Who's Johnny Carson? I think is it like a singer? Cheers, everyone. Solar says it's not that kind of talk show. They discuss the news of the day. It's not like Tonight Show with Jimmy Kimmel. I know I just went off. I took off. And yes, I went on a rant. So it's a different kind of show. But the lady, whoever told the story, probably stole my story. And Susan, yes. What are you snacking today, Susan? Yum, yum. Betty says some of these kids is never on one, but 5 or more on one. They're proud of that. Yes, normally a whole gang of them. Because they're cowards. They gang up on somebody, 1-to-1, they probably, chicken out. So yes, the cowards. Alisa says, I agree, Yogi. I don't like bullies. Same here. It's a trigger for me. If people start to bully others, I can't just sit here. I don't care. Oh, Travis says, is it like a compass? It could be. It could be. Because we're talking about this, it's not anchor, is it? How do you call the steering wheel for boat? So this is this thing here. And that could be, because it's all about traveling in this area. You've got the telescope here. You can look far away. You've got the compass here for traveling as well. And there's a rocking horse you can ride. It's a boat wheel. Is that what it's called? So you steer the boat with boat wheel. I don't know what it's called. Cheers, everyone. One more. Oh, delicious. Hit the spot. Hit the spot. Andrea says it looks like a clock on the window. Who knows? It could be an alarm clock as well, the old one. Rachel says the round thing looks like the ship wheel. Oh, this. Yes. And the other thing pointing up is telescope. Yes. Susan is having cheese and onion crisps. Oh, what a combination. So cheese is not the... cheese and onion crisps. I thought Susan was having cheese and onion crisps. Yes, cheese and onion is a thing. So today's savory day, is it? Solar says it's very dangerous in some cities, especially for older people. Hordes of teens just attack you for no reason, really? Attacking older people. Why? And it happens in Illinois in the other day. It was on the news. Yeah, that is bad. If they're attacking, I think bullies between school kids. I'm not saying it's good, but it's more common. But attacking older people, what is that about? Sola says Johnny was famous talk show host. Oh, he's a talk show host. It kind of rings a bell. I thought it was a singer. Renee says, I'm 65. Johnny Carson was the host of Tonight Show. Yes. And years ago. Right. Okay, so he's the OG of talk show, wasn't it? So it's been around for a long time. In the 70s, really. So this format of talk show has been around since the 70s. I thought it was more sort of a 90s or something. Because you just turn around everywhere. Every country has a version just like that. And they're all doing the same thing. Let me have a sip of my coffee. Susan says ships well. And I think someone else says boats well. So it depends on whether it's a ship or a boat. What's the difference between ships and boats? It's just the size. Boat is smaller, isn't it? And ship is bigger, no? Betty says Lee just got up and knocking the older people out. Oh dear. I think when kids have no directions and they're bored to their head, and also maybe they're not happy at home, maybe there's a home problem and etc., and they're frustrated, they probably try to take it out on somebody. It's very toxic. And I think when a society has that happening, you know, you have problems with kids. And these people are going to grow up, you know, these young kids are going to grow up and become grown-ups. So if they do that when they're teenagers, they're probably not going to be the model citizens when they grow up. I don't know. Maybe some of them change. But I think a lot of them is just an escalation of what they're doing. Because beating, you know, I think if you steal things, is slightly different. You want things, and stealing is not good. It's wrong, right? But physically harm someone, that is a different category. You know, I don't think people grow up. If you do that as a teenager, I don't think you grow up, become a better person. That is a really hard transition. I think, you know, if kids, they shoplift or whatever, they can change their ways. Maybe when they start making their own money, they come to their senses. But if you physically hurt other people when you were a child, when you were a kid, I don't think you're going to grow up as a decent human being. I don't. The chance is quite remote. And Solar says in some cities they have quite enforcing laws. The local government has decriminalized some crimes. Like what? Beating people up is not a crime anymore. What? Cheers, everyone. I'm going to have one more before I come back to stitching. Cheers. Renee says Jack Parr was the original The Tonight Show host from the 50s. Really? Tonight Show has been around. Is Tonight Show the talk show? Like an OG of all talk shows? Because I know there are probably quite a few. Since the 50s. Janine says, Johnny Carson is the OG of talk shows. He was hilarious. Yes, a lot of talk show hosts, they came from comedy background, don't they? Like stand-up comedians and stuff like that. But I think a lot of jokes, they're written by other people. They just deliver it. They're like actors. Maybe back in the 50s, you know, the host actually told the jokes. Their own jokes. But nowadays they have a whole team of people writing jokes, and they just pick slightly funnier ones. I don't think they're ever that funny. Even though I'm probably not a big fan of that kind of show. I think it's just I'm just bored of it, you know, knowing everything is staged. And no stage jokes in this talk show, okay? Everything's spontaneous and it's real time, it's live. I'm trying to figure out where I am. So, this one over here. I think I was here. Am I? 1, 2. So this is 1, 2 here. Where am I? All right. I think I know. I think I'm here. Let me see. No. I think this is the one I was stitching. 1, 2. 2 stitches. Okay. I think this is where I am. Oh, let me bring on the view here. Sorry, forgot. Renee says, Johnny took over after Jack Pa. Johnny was my favorite. Now I sleep while the Tonight Show is on. Really? It's still on? Like new ones? Yes, I think for if you have a lot of I wouldn't say petty crime. I don't think beating people up is petty crime, but if you have no solutions, then what do you do as a local government? But I think a lot of crimes, particularly for teenagers, it's coming from the fact that they feel like they have no future, they have no directions. So it's about fixing that. You can't just physically stop people from doing bad things. You have to redirect them to do something useful and give them hope and give them, goals in life. So they want to do things more useful rather than going around street and randomly beating people up. So I think that type of crimes is more of a symptom of a generation rather than just for because when you beat people up, it's not like for financial gain or things can be explained a little bit more. They're just probably just venting their own anger. And why are they angry? You have to think about that. So talk show has been around for so long. I didn't know that. I think it's a little bit like all the talent shows, like America's Got Talent or that kind of stuff. It becomes a format that's being sold to different countries, and it becomes a formula. And maybe it works for a while, but after a while, you kind of know what they're doing, and it just becomes tiring and uninteresting. And I think those talent shows are going out for sure because people are so bored of it. And Janine says, I don't think any bully turns out to be a model adult. It's just my opinion. Yes, I think if you have that streak in you, I'm not saying people can't change, but if you have that streak in you, and also if you have the experience, I think there is a line that we don't cross as, human beings. That is to physically hurt another person. That's why I think when people do that, whether it's, random crimes like, beating people up or school bullies, for instance, or domestic violence, anyone who has crossed that boundary of harming another person, physically in particular, I think verbal, it's a little bit harder to measure. I'm not saying it cannot be hurtful and damaging, but when you cross that line to raise your hands to harm another human being, that boat has sailed. You have become, transformed into a different species. That's what I truly believe. So when people start beating other people up, if you have a taste of violating other people's body, physical body, it's more likely you will do it again because it becomes one of your solutions. And that's why a lot of people who are maybe in domestic violence, abusing the other spouse, or your partner. It's very hard to stop them, because at some point when they lose it, if they don't know how to manage their own emotions, they will resort to that solution again. It's very hard to stop them, because if you've already done it. For most of us, I have no experience of physically, hurt other people. So that for me is there's a wall there to stop me from doing that. There's a very clear break within me, in my system, to go, you do not go there. But once you have gone over that boundary, I think it's very easy to happen again. So I don't know, I hope there will be bullies, whether it's a physical bully or verbal bullies. I'm not saying they can't change, but if you have that streak in you, you're slightly broken. Do you not think you're slightly different than your fellow human beings? And you have to work really hard, to be a regular person again. Renee says, yes, it's a formula, takes fun out of it altogether. I know, because you know where they're going. The format is the same. The talk show host would crack a few jokes that other people have written for them and try to deliver it. And the audience is probably told to laugh. Because I've been to a live talk show once, and it's weird. They give you, it was it Frank Skinner's show? It was ages ago. I was really young at the time. And I went with my mom, okay? And they give you, not me, I was still quite young, but they would give you tokens when they ask you to go into the studio a little bit sooner. They give you tokens to the bars, in the studio, by the studio, and they get you slightly tipsy, okay? They try to warm you up. And once you're in the studio, after a couple of drinks, most people are, a little bit relaxed. And they have a stand-up comedian come in, not the main ones, not the host. They just have, they hire people to warm you up, to make you laugh. And they do silly things and get you in the mood. So once the host came out, and you're already happy. You have a few drinks, and you already laugh a few times, hopefully. And so, things are a little bit easier. They get you to clap. And sometimes if the clap is not sort of, the right volume, they get you to clap again. So the whole thing is a show. Whole thing's a show. So what you see there, even the audience is part of that stage show. So that's what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it's done for most talk shows. Get you happy there, relax, and get you to clap. And they crack a few jokes, get the guests out. Most of the times they've got something to sell you, and they tell a few more stage show jokes, and that's it. They walk away. And next one. Elisa says, I think bullies are people who are just hurting too. It's about reaching them, wanting to reach them. Yes, I think, because what we put outside very often is the projection of our view. So a lot of people who bully, they're probably getting, have very low self-esteem. They probably get bullied, or maybe not treated very well at home. Not always, but their interpretation of the world is, if the world hurts me, I can hurt the world too. It's a kind of a revenge. And yes, I totally believe the people who want to hurt others, they're probably hurting themselves from the inside. They probably don't like themselves very much. So it's a projection outwardly to the world. And that's why very often, if you come across people who are not very nice to you, maybe not beating you up, maybe just being a little bit mean. I try to have compassion for them. I'm just thinking this is a person who's probably, not really enjoying life very much, and maybe they're hurting from the inside, but they don't know how to fix it. So they try to make other people miserable as well. At least that's the goal. Renee says, one of my own school bullies came to me on graduation day and apologized to me for bullying me when we were young. He was sincere and very repentant. It was touching and unusual. I forgave him. That's very nice. I don't think it happens that frequently, but that's very nice when that happens. I like to think that they could, fix themselves in some way and become a good person again. And sometimes a lot of, bullying situation is the group dynamic as well, because, on their own, they probably never dream about beating people up. But when there's a whole gang of people, there's a diminish of sense of responsibility there when we're in a group, and it's quite frightening. That could happen a lot. When you're in a group, you're not operated as you. All the moral boundaries sometimes are lost. So maybe when they come to their senses, they realize that was foolish and wrong. Sola says, I agree, Yogi. I saw a story about where they're holding classes after school to teach the kids manners and impulse control. Yes, that's the key word. I love it. Impulse control. And Sola says, I was glad to see it. These kids don't have role models. I know. I think particularly with kids, because the brains are not fully formed just yet. So they're very reactive. When we're kids, if we're not happy about something, we cry about it. And because they don't know, they haven't learned the skills to process their own emotions. So they're very, responsive to reactive rather to things. And so the impulse control is one, and particularly if they're never taught by grown-ups how to manage their emotions, and they have to lash out to somebody in some way, because what else do you do, And so I think impulse control, I don't know how to teach them, but it's about walking through, I think, of that mental process when you get mad, and maybe there are, techniques they can be taught to slow down, and so they have time to process it. Because a lot of time, even grown-ups, like road rage and everything, it's all about impulse control. And a lot of crimes, I'm a true crime fan. How many crimes are committed and happens in that split second? You make the wrong decision, you're not able to control your emotions, and then the rest of your life is ruined. It's over for you because of those few moments. Because of a jealousy, because of what, you just get mad because someone is treating you badly for whatever reason. And your life is all over because of that. And that is, a lot of that is due to, people not able to process their emotions and just react to it. And sometimes you look at crime cases, they're sitting there being accused of murder just because they got mad about a neighbor, the noises coming from the next door, they go over, get into a row, and before you know it, someone was shot or something like that. That happens, probably more frequent than you think. And you kind of go, whoa, just those brief moments for something so trivial, your entire life is over, pretty much. So I think impulse control is a skill, critical skill for a person, not just kids. And Renee says, I always wonder if it's Susan Boyle was a setup sort of thing. She could sing though. Oh, Susan Boyle, that's a name I have not heard for ages. Yeah, she went on. I remember watching Susan Boyle, and afterwards when she was had a record deal and everything. It's a lady. If you don't know, okay, if you're under 25, you probably don't know who Susan Boyle is. She was. I think she went on the British version of. I think at that time it was called a different name. Was it? It wasn't UK Got Talent or anything. It was like Pop Star or something like that. Talent show basically. And she's a lady who who looked very ordinary, you know, a nice lady, but she, if you look at her, you wouldn't know she could sing. And she went on. I think she sung Les Miserables, the I Dream the Dream, because I know I love the musical, so I remember. And it's a very important, well, not important, the quite a well-known tune. And she sung and she started singing, and you can imagine that voice came out of a lady. I mean, we all judge people in some way, you know, but you can't read a book, judge the book by its cover. And she sung quite well, you know. I wouldn't say it's professional level, but for a layman, for an amateur, it was a surprise. And that's what those shows are about. Ordinary people just walk up the stage and start singing in a way that perhaps you don't expect. And she became like a really popular person. I can't remember whether she won or not. But whichever case, she got record deals and everything. I don't know what happened to her though. I think it wasn't smooth sailing, because once the novelty worn off with people, unfortunately, with this type of shows, people can get forgotten, or people just got bored. I think she continued. She might had a little bit of singing career afterwards, but I don't know what happened to her. I don't know what happened to her. I hope she's doing well. And I don't know whether that was a setup, but they don't have to set it up though, because quite a lot of, you know, candidates that go on this type of shows, maybe they can sing. And you know, it's more about the manufacturing of their life stories, because you know, you don't want someone just really boring. They have a great life and they can sing because they have a great musical education. They don't want that. They want people coming out of nowhere with nothing, and you know, we like that kind of story. People become stars from nothing. So I think in that state, in that sense, maybe there's some setup going on there to make the story sound more appealing, perhaps. So this one I haven't done. I have 2 more past threads here. I should be able to move on to mean to max today. Oh, Britain's Got Talent. Okay. No, UK's Got Talent. Travis says Marek is watching Sesame Street. They were singing songs about letter G. And it was to the song Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Oh, Travis. So Travis learning alphabets. Marek, so not Travis. Travis can read alphabets. Mary's learning alphabet already. So why letter G then? Don't Stop Believing by Journey. What's that to do with G? Right, Britain's Got Talent. Is it still on, I wonder? I think they kind of mutate a few times. The same formula, but different names. 3 stitches with this one. Renee says her talent was not exceptional, but she had a voice and courage, I guess. Yes, I think with her, yes, you're quite right. Her voice is decent. You know, she can sing in tune, of course, but is she the best singer in the world? No. Is she top level? No. But I think what they're selling is the life story and how ordinary she looked, but she has voice that surprised people. I think that's kind of sums up that kind of talent show, isn't it? Is kind of for, you could say, for ordinary people to shine. But at the same time, I think gradually they became commodities for the programs to earn money. And how many winners, or maybe people in finals, they have record deals, and then afterwards they're not selling anymore. They got thrown away like a piece of garbage. How many stories have you heard about them? A lot. So, what they're selling is that novelty, the kind of, a little bit of a sob story, even better. But afterwards, they have no value anymore, because not all of them, not very few of them have kind of enough talent to sustain in the music industry. It's hard enough, for people who are professionally doing it, but let alone, kind of random people going on the show. 3858. And a lot of them have some level of success is based on the marketing, the pushing out their albums through the production company, which is very powerful. And also, just exposure, which is also through the program. But you can only go so far with that. I wonder what Susan Boyle is doing now. Is she still singing, I wonder? I hope, I think what you can hope for best is that process is not going to destroy and mess up your life. Imagine if you have success like that and then it disappears. People don't even remember you. Renee says those Sesame Street songs stick in your head longer than your children's. I never watched Sesame Street, actually, because when I was a kid, I just think those children's programs are so stupid. I don't think I was ever a child. I watched very little of the children's program. I watched documentaries, that kind of stuff. I don't think I was ever a child. Travis says, I guess it's a letter of the day in the episode. So it's nothing to do with the song. So today is just a G day. Best friend says, very few. I'm probably referring to the talent shows. She says, very few have actually continued after Terry Fatter and the ventriloquist. Oh, ventriloquist is one of America's Got Talent and actually made a name for himself. There was also young lady ventriloquist who also did. Interesting. It's a bit freaky, isn't it, ventriloquist? I don't know if there's a big market for that kind of shows. Maybe somewhere like Vegas or something. It's not something that people think about watching on a day-to-day basis. There's normally a puppet involved, so I'm slightly scared. I think it's hard, particularly in sort of if you join a, if you're a singer as well, because it's so saturated. Everybody wants to be a pop star, and maybe during the competition you have a lot of exposure, but afterwards people move on to the next lots, right? And then you're forgotten. Sola says, I think Sesame Street is mostly for very young children, like 2 to 4. Okay. I mean, 2 to 4, do you want them to watch a lot of TV? I don't know. Susan says, Susan Boyle is launching a new musical era, really? Debuting a dramatic makeover with a chic blonde bob. What? And a glamorous wardrobe. And teasing her first music in years. Did you cut and paste somewhere from Wiki? Or are you is Susan the Susan Boyle fan club? Her first music in 7 years, so she didn't do anything for 7 years, and she continues to record. Oh wow! With the blonde hair, with makeover, she I hope she's not having anything done with her with plastic surgery. Wow. Okay. How old is she now? Is she in her 50s? Because, when she went on a show, one thing, okay, this is not body shaming. It's just the fact that people thought she was much older. But I think she was barely 40 at that time. But so that was the kind of the selling point, really, because she looked so not like a regular singer that we expect. And that's kind of the uniqueness of her. So I don't know how old she is now. Maybe in the 50s, 60s. I don't know. But good for her. I mean, a makeover is nice. Ah, Susan is Googling. So that's a proper, like a bio. Okay, Google says she had a minor stroke in 2022. Oh no. Sola says, when Jim Henson Muppets were on Sesame Street, I used to watch it. I was in my 20s. Ah, yes, you have a child at heart. I don't know who Jim Henson is. Lona says she had a stroke. Oh no, I hope it's not too serious. That's not good. She's 65, okay. Because that was quite a while ago when she went on the talent show. 65, okay. And she's still going, that's nice. She's probably got a fan base somewhere, I'm sure. I mean, people like that kind of story that, people have come out of nothing and then became a star. 1, 2, 3. Oh dear, okay. Requires a little bit of fudging. This is my last pass thread. I did it. I cleared it. Jojo says Jim Henson was the creator of the Muppets. So Muppets is what? Is like a puppet show. I don't know, when I was a kid, I never wanted to watch anything like that. I just saw they were so childish. I was an old soul. Probably still is. Three. Oh, excellent. So the last ones, yeah. And when I was a teenager, I was always drawn to more grown-ups, you know, in terms of friends. I just felt like people of my same, around the same age as me, they were just so kind of aimless, you know. They, when I spoke to them, they were just nothing interesting. I know it's very pretentious. 155. Janine says Carrie Underwood has done very well on American Idol, but similar to the Britain or American Got Talent, she's coming to town in the fall and is already sold out. She has made it at least 20 years. I'm not too sure who she is. It rings a bell, but I'm not sure if I know who she is. So some of them are doing. So she was a winner, was she? So that's good to know. Some of them made it. And oh, she's made it at least 20 years. So she's got a real talent. I'm trying to recall if any UK ones has, you know, like did really well and became like a real star. Is there anybody from the UK side? I can't think of anybody. You know, all of them maybe at one point were popular and then just disappear afterwards. Best friend says my favorite singer to win America's Got Talent was the custodian Richard Goodall. He went to compete for his students, and even though he won, he went back to work the same school as before. What did he do? Did he sing? I don't know who it is, because I stopped watching those shows, you know, long time ago. So I'm not up to date with who they are. So he was a teacher, was he? So what was the talent? Renee says, were you an only child, Yogi, or the firstborn child? No, I'm the middle child. I have two brothers, one above, one below. Do I sound like a middle child? Or do I sound like the only child? I would love to have a sister, though. I have two brothers. I would have loved to have a sister. You know, so we can maybe stitch together. That would be nice. Okay, good. Now I can start my mean to max. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna set up my app to do so. Mean to max. And I'm going to sort my list here. Very nice. So I have a few single stitches to do. I'll do those first. And then slowly building up. I just want to know the maximum number. Oh, the highest number of stitches for the final color is 68. So it's a small area. So okay, 3,750. I'm gonna go from here. 3,750. Lona says, oh, so Carrie Underwood is from Oklahoma. And she was a janitor, really? Well, people love stories like that, you know? If someone is from really privileged background, let's say both parents are, you know, I don't know, bankers, and they had musical, you know, coaches teaching them how to sing. Even, you know, even if they're the greatest singers in the world, they probably wouldn't like those people to be on the show because you have no story to sell. 3750. Oh, janitor is just perfect. Yes. Maybe janitor or homeless is even better. 3750. And, you know, they just become, they have this talent that's hidden, and the show's given them opportunity to shine. That's the whole premise of those shows. You need to have a story. Best friend says, oh, I think, are you talking about the teacher, maybe? Best friend says he's a singer. His song that got him into competition was actually Don't Stop Believing by Journey. All right, so it's from someone else. So what makes him special? So was he a really good singer? So he's a teacher and he can sing. I'm getting the all the updates of the talent shows I had not watched for the past 15 years today on the chat. And if you have not been watching those programs, follow me. we're getting the updates here. So one stitch for this one. Oh, it's a guy. Reacher was a janitor. So that the teacher we're told. No, he's a teacher. Who's Reacher? I'm so confused. Renee says, you sound like a firstborn, seriously, and thoughtful, and prefer adult company rather than children shows. Really? So firstborn, they tend to want grown-ups. Oh, that's interesting, because if you're the firstborn, you probably spend at least a couple of years, depending on when your siblings come along. You probably spend a couple of years hanging out with, I don't know, grown-ups most of the time. That's very interesting. Yes, most of my friends growing up, I just hang out with grown-ups. Well, I had, you know, people around my same age as well, like school friends, but, you know, I like to hang out with older people because they talk about interesting things. 3750. 3750. Good. Yes, but I have a slightly older brother, only 1 year old though. So we're not that far apart. Lynn says, Lynn says, sorry, Yogi, I fell asleep. I remember looking at the clock, 10:30, and now you slept power nap for 1 hour. I hope you're feeling fresh and ready to go. Maybe get Maggie out. How's that, Lynn? Just a suggestion. Maggie's waiting for you. 315. And, you know, now you woke up, all my past threats have been cleared, Lynn. Are you impressed? 315. Monique says, I've been so sad about Hayden Pantier death. Oh, who's that? It's so shocking. What happened? And Renee says, I sung regularly in a talent show in Las Vegas. You have? And I was in my early 20s. It was hosted by Sandy Hackett. Renee's a singer. Really? You're in a talent show. Was it on TV? Oh, we need to get Renee to sing Happy Birthday song when there's a birthday in the chat. Wow, what kind of music, what kind of songs do you sing? Jojo says he was a janitor. Who was? Is it the teacher? I thought it was a teacher. Who was a janitor? Seemed to be a beautiful person. Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood is female, isn't it? It's from Oklahoma, live on a dairy farm. Okay, that's a nice story as well. A girl from the farm turning to a star. So who was a janitor? I still haven't figured out. Because every year, the show is, once a year, isn't it? And so every year there's a new person that takes over. So you can only be popular and famous for 1 year unless you have a genuine music sort of career. Otherwise, someone else is going to replace you and have all the attention that you had last year. It's brutal, isn't it? Okay, next one. 918. 918. Oh, best friend says Richard Goodall was a janitor, not a teacher. So who was the person that did it for the students? I'm getting all updates. I need to start taking notes, okay? I need a spreadsheet to capture all the details because I can't keep up. 918. Just one stitch. Oh, he was a janitor at a school. No way. So he wasn't a teacher. Because when you say school, I just presume he was a teacher or something. He did it for his students, someone said. He's a janitor. He was a janitor at a school. And he became like a... Is he still a star? Is he still famous? Like a successful? Oh, that's a great story. They're going to love that. Because even just a teacher, they probably love the story as well. But if you're a teacher, if you're a janitor at the school, that's perfect. That's gold. That's reality TV gold. Perfect. The producers are saying, geez, this is a gold mine right here. And Sola says he was not around any other children until... Oh, I was. Okay, Sola says, I wasn't around any other children until I was of school age. Is it because you were the only child? But even only child, you normally have cousins or whatever, neighbors. They're around the same age, perhaps. Monique says she went into cardiac arrest. Oh, the lady you mentioned. I don't know who it is. Is it like a famous person? Why would someone just go into cardiac arrest? So she's a famous actress. Okay. I'm not familiar with her. That's really tragic. 36? Why would a 36-year-old having a cardiac arrest? That's very unusual. Is this some sort of a heart problem? 918. That's very, very young. Renee says the Sandy Hackett was a weekly talent show on the Las Vegas Strip and also was in downtown Las Vegas back then, 80s, some popular music. So it was a show in Las Vegas. Oh, that sounds like a movie story. So you went on the talent show. Did you win? Is it like a tournament? Like, you know, like the America's Got Talent, that kind of stuff? Do you have to beat the other ones? One more single stitch, 938, 938. It's a brown. Just one stitch. Best friend says he does some shows. Oh, the janitor. He does some shows from time to time, but his dedication is to make sure the school stays clean. He went back to being a janitor. He actually went back to that. His main job after. Is it a young guy or older guy? Wow, that's very unusual. Well, not saying that you should, you know, maybe he just enjoys the job. You know, maybe that was his calling. So the thing is, though, if you have a musical, well, not musical, if you have a singing career afterwards, how do you go back and work full time over there? That's very unique. So let's say I was an only child, but for some reason, we lived there with no kids. Oh, I only saw kids at school. Family wasn't close by. Okay. So do you think that makes you different in some way? Because I chose to have more grown up as company. I did have a lot of, you know, neighbors and cousins, etc. Around the same age. I just, you know, didn't find them very interesting. I did hang out with them. So when I hang out with kids around my age, I had to, it's almost like role play. I try to play to be a child, if you know what I mean. It's quite weird. I had to behave like a child because otherwise I didn't fit in. 938. So I remember telling myself to behave like a child. 938. Because otherwise, other kids will probably freak out. Betty says, drugs can cause cardiac arrest. Also the COVID shots. Is that what happened to her? Do they know why? Because some people have sort of heart issues. You don't know until something happens. Like a lot of marathon, every year, there'll be people having cardiac arrest for previously unknown heart conditions. Okay, I'm moving up to 2 already. Very nice. 3765. Three, 7, 6, 5. Two stitches. Oh, Renee has posted photos of her when she was a singer. We have to have a look. Can I show it here? Is it okay to show it on YouTube? I'd love to, or you can have a look on Facebook. Let me know if it's okay to show, but I'll have a look. Where is it? Renee, have you just posted it? Oh, Wow, Renee. Renee was hot. Can I show it? If not, oh, you can show it. I don't care. Okay, Renee. Guys, have a look. This is our Renee. Okay, walk away, Renee, in the chat. Oh, look at that. Smoking hot. Let's have a look. Wow, that looks professional though. Let me zoom out a little bit. That is amazing. That is Renee here. And let me see if there's more. Oh, look at that. Is that like a choker or something around the neck? Oh, that's very, very nice. That's very impressive. Let me see if there's more. Yes, there's 2 photos. Very impressive, Renee. And do you still sing? Because people who sing, they never stop singing, do they? And what kind of music, I wonder? That's very impressive, Renee. Maybe you can go on the next year's America's Got Talent. Jeanine says, I'm the firstborn, and I still remember how upset I was when... I can totally see that in you. I can totally see that in you. Jeanine says, I still remember how upset I was when my brother came and he took my mom's attention away from me. I'm 4 years older. Wow, 4 years is a long time though, because my brother is only just slightly over a year old than me, older than me. And so, you know, I don't know whether he had issues readjusting, but over a year is not a very long time, but 4 years is. 4 years, you know, you all saw attention of all the grown-ups around you. And then lo and behold, came this little monkey, you know, claimed to be your brother. And yes, I can totally see that you wouldn't be too happy. And did you get along with your brother? I'm sure you got over it at some point. I can see that though. I can see that for kids. It's a little bit like animals, isn't it? If you have a cat for a long time, for a few years, and suddenly you introduce another cat, in some occasions they get along really well, but sometimes they just, you know, they just don't like each other because one cat is thinking, you're taking away my, you know, the attention I had before. And there's one more over here. Jojo says the boyfriend gave Hayden, oh, the actress, gave her Narcan. What's Narcan? So must have suspected drug overdose. Oh dear. So she was given something without her permission, or? That doesn't sound good. And it's very young to have cardiac arrest. Yes, I think for someone that young, if you don't have heart condition, it's probably induced by some sort of drug taking or something. That's possible. That's not good. But do you think there is foul play, as in she was given the drug without knowing, or maybe she was, you know, taking it already but overdose? 3765 376. $3,765. Is it? 3765. It's Narcan. Oh, so it's a form of opioid. Right. I don't know what a Narcan is. I know, best friend, isn't it? Renee's really pretty. I'm sure she's still pretty now. It's a bowl, satin bowl. Okay, very pretty. I know, very impressive. And LA Bird says, oh, referring to the actress, she's had a history of drug and alcohol abuse. Oh, not a good combination. Not a good combination. She starred in series Heroes and also Nashville. Unfortunately, I don't know either. I don't really watch TV much or TV series, but that's very sad. I mean, alcohol and drugs, not a good combination, okay? Not a good combination in any shape or form. The next one is 3863. So it's not like she was given without knowing. She probably just took too much. 3863. 3863. 2 stitches. Renee says, I became a Christian not long after and sang in churches and for special events gave up secular singing, but I love singing and love singing in choirs and solos. Oh, that's lovely. I think if you love to sing, you don't want to stop. You will probably find, even just singing in the shower, you probably are still enjoying it. Betty says our daughter had a very hard time when our son came along 7 years later. Oh, that's got to be hard, for sure. Unless the child has a lot of kids in similar age, and they kind of used to other kids getting attention as well. Otherwise, it's very hard, isn't it? Okay, so no foul play is suspected. I think it's a very easy scenario to get into, Jojo, is the fact that if you're taking drugs already, it's not that far-fetched for you to maybe take more than you should. That happens. I think happened to, that singer, really famous one, Whitney Houston, right? I think she was found in her bath, maybe overdose as well. And particularly if you drink alcohol as well, that's very, very bad. You can go wrong very easily. Street A63. Best friend says Narcan is a medicine given via spray up the nose. What? To help counteract opioid overdose. So it's a medicine to help to quit, to help people to quit. Sort of drug dependence. Really? It's a reversal agent. But so why would it? But so is that a side effect? The heart, the cardiac arrest. Oh, that's not good. So she's trying to quit, maybe. 3363, 3 stitches. 3363. Travis says I just posted an update on the Pokemon Ghastly. Oh, that's a name. That's not a very nice name for the Pokemon. Ghastly. And join our Facebook group if you haven't already. You get to see a lot of interesting webs. Let's have a look. Where am I? There. And Travis, are you still streaming? Because Travis was streaming a lot a while ago. Started a new channel. Are you still streaming regularly? So Narcan is an agent that helps people combat addiction, but it can create problems for the heart. Is that what it is? And that would be quite sad if she's trying to get better to be less dependent from the drugs, but it ended up, killing her. That would be terrible. Three stitches, 3363. Jojo says Narcan used during overdose if administered soon enough, the opioid effect is reversed. Oh, so it's like an antidote, and the person wakes. Ah, okay. And in Alberta, anyone can pick up Narcan at pharmacy, no questions. Really? Why would be so? Why do they sell stuff like that anybody can get to do what? Oh, Travis hasn't been streaming because of headaches. Oh dear, I hope you get better. I think Travis gets migraines sometimes, don't you? I hope it's gonna get better very soon. 3 stitches of 798. 798. Ah, okay. Okay, so Renee says sounds like she was overdosing and someone used Narcan to try to save her. So she was overdosed already. Okay, so it's not Narcan that killed her. She was already overdosed with something. Oh dear. Addiction is difficult, isn't it? So let me see, where am I? Here. One stitch here. Jojo says, unfortunately, the person who was given Narcan is usually very angry because they don't get the high they want. Oh, you mean people who are given the thing? I thought it was a kind of antidote thing. Jojo says Narcan is not sold, it's free. The idea is to prevent overdose deaths and remove social stigma. They give it out for free. How many people are addicted? I need that to revive someone. That's insane. So it's okay, Jojo, the way you describe it, that makes sense. She says, I think Narcan, the same as CPR. The person is already dead or will be imminent without intervention. So she was already overdosing and someone is giving her the substance in order to wake her up, but she didn't. So she was already overdosed on something. It's not caused by Narcan. I don't know. I'm learning. Seven, 9, 8. 7, 9, 8. Alison says Narcan is available in any pharmacy here in the UK. Really? If you know someone who uses drugs, you are advised to keep it with you to help in case of overdose. Oh, right. But it doesn't work all the time from the sound of it. I didn't know that. I've never heard of it. I don't know anybody who uses any substance that I know of. Okay, next one. 3 stitches of 829. 829. Jojo says addiction is a huge issue worldwide. I don't know quotable numbers. Well, there's a wide spectrum of different kind of addiction, isn't there? Because there I'm pretty ignorant about the issue, so this is just my own understanding that there are more sort of more typical drug use. People use maybe cocaine, cracks, or whatever. Who knows? That is more sort of more obvious kind of drugs that people use that we recognize as drugs. But there are a lot of like a painkiller types of dependencies as well. Like Michael Jackson, for instance, he wasn't taking cocaine or cracks or anything like that. He was just taking painkillers in order to feel normal. So, and that I think is probably more prevalent. They're more invisible because they're not sort of people going to the dark street, try to get some sort of illegal drugs. A lot of them are prescribed and then escalated into, less legal kind of. Maybe they try to get more drugs than they should be taking, etc. You hear stories like that. And also the demographic is different as well. We're not talking about people who are living in the wrong side of the streets. They could be ordinary people. They could be housewives. They could be fully, highly functioning people. So I think people just trying to find ways to medicate themselves in some way. Three stitches of 434. And I heard some people, they become addicted after they're given certain drugs, after injuries or surgeries, and they become addicted to that, which is tragic if that's the case. And this one is done as well. Why didn't I mark? This one's done. 434. It's curious. This one's done. 4 stitches already. 796. 796. Janine says Narcane immediately puts a herring used into clean status, and they don't feel well at all after it's administered, which is why they get mad. Oh, does that mean, so if you're an addict of certain substance, so that Narcane actually cancel it? Is that what you mean? So you don't get a high anymore, and the person receives it. It's like, oh, I just wasted my money. You wasted my medication. Is that what it is? Not medication. You wasted my drugs. 1, 2. You know, I just spent $200 on that nice little, you know, shot of whatever, and now it's gone. Is it like that? So it's quite a magic substance. Betty says in Hayden's situation, if she was taking pain pills for her bad back and mix it with alcohol, I think a lot of people probably transition into some sort of addiction from a very quite benign situation. So if you're given certain pain pills, so it goes back to those pills that are given to people to relieve pain. Are they aware of the potential of someone not being able to come out of it? You know, and I heard that before. People literally just seeking medical treatments for injuries or whatever, and maybe post-surgery, and they're given certain drugs and they feel great on it, and then they want more or something like that. And mixing with alcohol is definitely probably a very bad idea, no matter what. Most of this kind of drugs probably shouldn't drink alcohol with it at all. And currently, I think some of you are probably following the Clancy. I can't remember the lady's first name. Sincere apologies. Clancy case. It's slightly different. It wasn't painkiller or anything, but she was just, you know, not being treated properly. From what I've heard so far, she was actively seeking help. 796. Let me just pop it back. You cannot fault her for not trying to find help. I mean, this lady was running around literally trying to figure out if anybody could help her at all. And then I think, you know, the medication she received just was not right for her. And she wasn't drinking alcohol or anything, you know, that we know of. Okay. So Janine says they immediately take more heroin or pills to get out of the withdrawal. Right. So it's all pointless, isn't it? Jojo says you're right, Yogi. There are many types of addiction. Unfortunately, the effects are evident in all aspects of social issues. So it goes back to, why do we need to self-medicate? Because the intention is very human, isn't it? If we don't feel great for whatever reason, inside, or I don't think people take drugs for physical reasons. Maybe painkillers, a slightly different scenario. But why would some people, I think people receive this type of, painkillers for medical treatments probably happens every day, but some people can just, walk away from it and not feel the need to want more. So there's something else going on for the individuals, maybe the body for whatever reason more susceptible to addiction, or maybe there's some psychological factors as well. Maybe they need more, maybe they feel so great when they had a medication, and they just go, maybe I can just have a little bit more. I like to feel that again. Maybe day-to-day life is a little bit painful for whatever reason, and or unhappy, so they're looking for that kind of relief. And so the question will be, why do you need to medicate yourself? We're talking about all kind of substance, not just drugs, but alcohol is one, or any kind of addiction, even smoking. It's slightly different kind of effect. So the question goes back to the fundamental thing about, where does that need come from, and can you fill it with other things in order not to need substances? Because if those substances can make you just super happy, then great. But the problem is they have, really bad side effects. That there's a heavy price to pay for that momentary, very temporary relief. So the question will be, how can we build up from the inside? So we don't need that kind of, external thing to make us feel good. 3837. Okay, so if they're given Narcan, basically going to withdraw because it cancels out whatever they're taking. So they get very sick. Okay. But that's kind of the goal, isn't it? If you're trying to get someone to quit, they do have to go through withdrawal. There's no other way. There's no easy way. And I think withdrawal in a way is designed maybe in a way for the person to learn not to do it again, because the withdrawal is so bad. Because if withdrawal is really easy, then you can just go back to taking drugs. You just go, well, all I have to do is to take something else and it cancels out, immediately. I'm not addicted anymore. I think it's like childbirth. You have to go through some pain for the body to remember that. So you have that, instinct to love children, and maybe it's not the best analogy because it's not, the goal is not to prevent people from having kids. No, the pain is not there for that purpose, for childbirth. But you know what I mean? It's like, if it's really easy to quit, then the body doesn't remember. You can easily go back to do it again because you don't have to suffer in order to stop, if that makes sense. One, two. Amanda says popped in for a second. Hello, Amanda. So Amanda has been shopping, are you? Buying charts. Ginny says pain pills are addictive if abused to take the pain away. Their body would definitely be sick without it, and they can get high on pills or heroin. Yes, but surely that kind of pain pill is probably given to a lot of patients all day long. So how come some people get addicted and some people don't, So I think that's the question. Is there something fundamental about the individuals that needs that kind of relief more than others. See you later, Lucy. I hope have you started stitching already? Are you enjoying it? And see you soon. Jeannie says the prescription for pain pills is not enough for the time period of the pain. So they get their own and it quickly turns into a bad decision. And see you later, Renee. And Renee says it's probably 4 to 8 stitches done. Oh, she's got 4 to 8 stitches done. Not me. I thought that's, you know, that's ambitious for Yogi. And well done, Renee. And we'll see you later. Thank you for sharing the photos. Jojo says the only person who can convince a substance used to quit is that person. Same as trying to lose weight, quit smoking, or heaven forbid, give up chocolate. You don't have to give up chocolate. Totally, yes. I think this is why quitting, walk away from addiction is so difficult, because a lot of times people quit due to some sort of external pressure. Even, just being, fearing deterioration of health is an external fear, isn't it? It's coming from the fact that maybe if I don't quit, I may die or something. That's one. But even that cannot stop people from being addicted. A lot of times we see tons of examples, but it has to come from the person. And this is kind of the sort of the point I was trying to make, was that what is it within us that makes us need that kind of quick fix? So it's going inward and figure out what is making us feeling maybe not enough or not happy, and try to fix that instead. So if you feel fulfilled and just happy, perhaps the need for external sort of that kind of medication is not required. And you're quite right, Jojo. You can, you have to fix yourself. No one can fix you. It's 3837. Jeanine says going through withdrawal is like torture. It's not over for a long time. Most people can't physically or mentally do it on their own. Yes, it's difficult, isn't it? Rachel says people are given meds to combat feelings of withdrawal, to make it easier and bearable. And yes, lots of people do relapse. Yes, I think in the sense that if the process is too easy, then, I don't know. I'm sure that's not the case. But if you go on a rehab and just almost like a, holiday, and everybody's, attending to you and try to make you feel better. But the problem is, once that support system is not there, you walk away from the clinic and, back to normal, the same pattern, the same mind structure, then nothing's fixed, really. And it's very, very easy to go back to need that, that fix again. 780. And I'll probably make this one the last color I'm stitching. I've got 4 stitches because it's 12:15, and I do have an class tomorrow. And by the way, tomorrow evening, okay, no stream tomorrow because I have two evening classes tomorrow, okay, but we will be back on Tuesday. So Monday also I'm working as well. The 2 days without Yogi, okay? And so tomorrow I have promised to cover two classes in the evening. So I'm gonna stitch the 4 stitches here, but we will be back on Tuesday. Jojo says, on the lighter topic, after 3 months of black, white, red, and gold for my for my Disney puppy love project, I finally get to use green. But why is that? Is it just the area you're stitching, or are you doing color completion? It's nice if you're stitching the same colors all the time. Jeannie says, comfort meds for opioid withdrawals are a joke. It's like doctors telling you to take Tylenol for broken bones. I don't know what Tylenol is. I've heard of it. I'm so ignorant about medication. The only medication I ever take is maybe aspirin a couple of years ago, but I don't really take anything. Okay, this is just 1 stitch here. I want to end it first to move on to the other side to do the remaining 3. And then I've got 3 more stitches. Moni says, oh, sad. Yogi, thank you. At least I feel wanted, you know. And thank you, Monique. And Susan, what are you celebrating? What is the ho-ho? Oh, Jojo. What's happening with Jojo? Oh, yes. Switching to the new color. Yes, absolutely. What a relief. Yes. And 1, 2, 3. Let me see. 3 more stitches to go. Lucy, yes, Lucy started the new start with the kitties. She says, I started stitching top left. Love it. I'm back, hopefully, to the end. I have done about 10 stitches. Oh, well done. This is, you know, ease in slowly. And I admire your bravery to start from the upper left. For me, I'll just dive straight to the kitties. But the kitties and the center bottom, isn't it? So it's going to take a while before you get to the kitties, but, you know, 1 step at a time. So Tylenol is like aspirin. Okay. Painkiller. 3 stitches. I've got 2 more. And then there's 1 more stitch at the bottom here. Very nice. I'm gonna end this one here, and I'll show you my progress. That little one as well. Lovely. Let's have a look. Let me zoom out a little. You can see that taking shape a little bit more, isn't it? Because if you just look at this bit, it looks like a bowling pin or something. And Jojo says, Puppy Love is 50% complete. Oh, really? In blocks with other colors, looking at the markup. Right, gold and white. I mean, yes, depending on what shade. White is definitely difficult to stitch, isn't it? So, yes, it's quite a relief to stitch something else. And guys, have a look at my stitching. Okay, and So today is all about transitioning into, let me zoom in a little bit, transitioning into minimum and max, just like this bit I was doing. I had tons of part threads. I managed to clear them up and started a min to max. And I've taken care of most of the single stitches. Oh, I need to mark these ones. And I have moved up to 4 stitches per color. Okay, so this area is not super big, but big enough that you have to be mindful as well. And yes, I am going to share my stitch count today. Monique has come forward, 380. Ooh, that's very nice, Monique. Let me take a guess myself. Do you want to guess? You can guess, but I'm going to take a guess myself. I'm just looking at this area. I'm thinking, I don't know, 250. I'm not as confident as Monique. And yes, Ace, painkillers probably, well, there's a whole, sort of rabbit hole about the pharmaceutical industry and what they do. Yes, it goes much deeper, much deeper. So I agree with you. And Jojo says 198 and best friend 250. Yes, I think Jojo might not be that far off. Maybe somewhere between best friends and Jojo, between 250 and 198. Okay, let's have a look. Let's find out. Okay, the proof is in the pudding. And let me just bring on my app here. Are you guys ready? I'm counting down to 3, 2, and 1. Oh, I told you. I told you. Am I not correct? And that's what I said exactly. So best friend says 250 and Jojo says 198 and I said maybe somewhere in between. Rachel says 206. Rachel could have won. It's 226, guys. The grand total of stitches Yogi has done today is 226. Yay! Well done, Yogi. It's not too bad at all, And so clearing up the part threads and started the, single stitches. I managed to clear them. Susan, thank you very much. And there you go. This piece is looking good, actually, the way I'm stitching, because some pieces, I have a lot of loose stitches everywhere. But this one, for some reason, I managed to stick with, kind of one block at a time, kind of, so you can actually see the finished look, which is quite nice as well. So guys, as I said, tomorrow I have evening classes. Thank you for your patience, but we will come back on Tuesday for a spot of stitching. So until then, I hope you enjoy your stitching as well, and I will see you here on Tuesday evening. And from the sleepy London town, Yogi is going to sign out, and great chat with you as usual. I'm learning so much, and I will see you on Tuesday. Night night, everyone. Night night, Susan, and bye bye.